Holy land lovers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. Still getting used to the current arrangement. Still not like 1,000% happy with it, but like the fact that it's functional has put on the back burner considerations of trying to make it better. Yeah, welcome to Friday. Currently, this particular Friday is September 20th, 2024. This is the shortest September of all time. Interestingly, I don't know if you know this, but it seems like it's about 10 days long, and it's very stressful, and I hate it. This week has not been as bad as several recent weeks, but it's all still very frustrating. It's rough because it's been generally a bad year for me for work. If you follow that sentence, very well constructed. And like a not insignificant amount of that, I think, has to do with trying to work through the majority of the move, which I have to say just really sucked. Did that to myself, but like, man, it really sucked to be trying to deal with all those things on top of it. It's just, I didn't want to take, like all of my vacation time forever, just to manage the move. And I think it was the right thing to do, but man, it sucked a lot. And then, like, the second I was sort of situated in the new house, like, work just escalated to just, like, be really bad. And, like, stayed that way, like, pretty much to current. This week's been a little less bad for a few reasons. But here's the kicker, is that, like, I've probably mentioned before that there's, like, 2 times per year that work usually gets bad, all other things being equal. And those are, like, the very beginning of the year and the halfway mark at the start of July. But there's kind of another thing that doesn't happen all the time. That's a big problem, and that's political ad season. The problem simply being that, like, a big part of my job is trying to get people to report that they're airing commercials that they agreed to air. And when they don't do that, it's like a bunch of extra work for me to be like, okay, swipe or no swiping. Like, if you mess up like 1,000 more times, we'll maybe consider like canceling your stuff, because we're so hardcore. But the problem is that like political ads pay money, and so like people at radio stations are like, yeah, we'll just like drop everything for whoever will pay us money because we're a business, and like there's no ethics in business. You just do crap to get money, which unfortunately is how like most people think, and it has led us to present. This is a good indicator that I'm still not doing well, that I've just like casually devolved into like doomsaying. But the point being that it will take another like 4 to 10 weeks, but like I'm almost definitely going to deal with like a real firestorm of like people not doing their agreed upon stuff and then me having to do more work. And like this was also like a big part of what made the move era difficult, is like for some reason at the start of the summer everyone was like blowing off their contracts, and like that's atypical. But like, yeah, I anticipate like a lot more of that, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's gonna be bad. Wait, Demolition, welcome to the stream. You missed whatever weird attempt Twitch had to do a hype train with only 2 subs, and then it realized it shouldn't do that and just kind of sadly gave up. It's fine. Just I was like, oh, that's weird. I feel like it shouldn't be doing that, and then I was like, yeah, I probably shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Ice Bunny said that reality kicked in. My dad is 80, mom is 71. It's not worth getting up at 3 a.m. to buy flowers at 4. I mean, that sure makes sense to me. I mean, a not inconsiderable factor in the move was my parents of, like, not dissimilar ages, considering the start of retirement. So, like, yeah, it sure makes sense to me that you don't want to get up at 3 in the morning. Hi, Project Dios. Thank you, Devolution, for the gift subs. Definitely not necessary. I appreciate the effort to restart the train, but alas, here we are. It's just been like this. I don't want to remain too negative, but like, there's just been like all these like little things of just like, yeah, all the things aren't quite working right. I've been dealing with a lot of ants. It's probably overstating it, but like, I'm very tired of dealing with the ants. I've gone about no, about a day, I think, without encountering any ants. But the last time I was conscious of that, then I saw more ants. So, you know, it's not actually a lot of ants. It's more ants than I want, which isn't saying very much because I want none ants. I still think it's a positive thing because I think it's an indicator that the barrier spread. I think I mentioned like a while back that I was like sourcing like a pest specialist, and like I finally got them to do like a barrier treatment, which is they just sort of like put like a chemical like around your house like as a perimeter, and it's kind of just supposed to deter things from wanting to like cross the line. And like I saw some like pretty solid evidence that like something was like trying to get into my garage and like failed to do so, and then a bunch of ants sort of like, I don't know, scavenged that thing. It was a very odd experience. But like none of them seemed to want to go inside, and then they all disappeared. And I'm like, great, seems like it's doing its job. So I think what happened is like there were some ants in the house, and then they tried to get out from the bear, and they're like, oh my god, what happened? There's like a wall here. And then like they all started like panicking, and then like they all flocked toward like a single completely sealed box of Teddy Grahams. And I don't know why, because like they shouldn't have been able to get in there, and they didn't seem to have actually obtained any food from the box, but they sure wanted to be on the box, so it just became trash like immediately. Just immediately. Doug says, I was the one who tried to get into your garage and failed to do so. No, I know it's not you because that the thing I saw was very unpleasant. And I know that you're trying to make a self-deprecating joke, but like no one in chat is as unpleasant as the thing that failed to get into my house, which is both good and bad. Good for you. Bad that I'm still occasionally seeing evidence that those things exist. An ant volcano in your driveway. Now I assume that's an ant hill that has been built on top of a flamethrower. Is that correct? Carburetor cleaner and blowtorch fix that. That's a solution. Yeah, killed a few thousand. Yeah, I mean that in a weird way that makes me feel better because I was like, I feel like I'm performing some like war crimes on these ants, just trying to keep them out of my house. Probably wasn't like thousands, but even so, like I don't know. I mean, I definitely feel better about trying to deal with the ants in my house than trying to deal with ones outside. Your mileage may vary as to how you define the difference, but like I feel like the barrier treatment is just to sort of like set a boundary where it's like you should not come inside because it's genuinely bad for you. If the guy who lives here finds you, he's not. It's not good for you, ants. Literally erupted out of the grass driveway. That sounds terrible. I've decided I don't want any more information about this. Not that you've done anything wrong, just that I started thinking about it a little, and I don't want to think about it anymore. You know what I do want to think about? I tested this like 3 times. It's just being weird. It's here the whole time. Blackwell Unbound. Let's talk a little bit about Blackwell Unbound. So last week we started playing the Blackwell Legacy, which is the first in a series of 5 or 6 games. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's a series of graphical adventure games, which are kind of a mainstay of the channel. You know, I love a good old school point-and-click adventure game. The first one follows Rosa. She's like a 3rd-generation spirit medium. 2 women in her family before her had communed with a particular spirit named Joey, who presumably died in like the late 20s or 30s or something. He's very old-fashioned, and that's like kind of a generous way of saying that he's definitely kind of sexist and awkward about some things. A little regressive, perhaps. And yeah, the first one ended really weird. We got a bad end because apparently like there's there's like a really specific way you have to interact with the end of that game, or else the devil just like kills a murderer in front of you. And like I continue to have like mixed feelings about that, because it's like I didn't really feel for the guy who was sort of the victim of the devil there. We did a really bad job of making it seem like it was my responsibility to save that guy, who was still trying to equivocate the fact that like multiple deaths he was responsible for were like even a problem. Like, he wasn't like a super cool guy. But then you get the devil involved and he's like, I'm gonna kill this guy real good. I'm gonna do some bad devil stuff to him. And then you just sort of stand there haplessly waiting for some invisible timer to run out, because if you talk to a person before picking up a rock, you can't save the soul. It's very odd. And very odd is sort of a general description I'd have for these games. Once we finish that, we got a little bit into the second game, which is what we're on now, Blackwell Unbound. We've jumped back in time like 25 years or something like that. And this is Rosa's grandmother, I'm pretty sure. For some reason, I'm having a little difficulty tracking the family tree. We set some like weird benchmarks for me, a guy who struggles with history and dates in all forms of the word. So like this time around, instead of sort of establishing Joey as a ghost and the whole background of the family, talking to spirits and whatnot, Blackwell Unbound joins Lauren, like well into her time dealing with ghosts. It's just, you know, it's just a daily occurrence. She it like literally starts like 3/5 of the way through a day where she's like, well, we investigated 3 bad leads about ghosts. We got 2 more. Let's see how it goes. And we found 2 ghosts. And basically we're trying to help those ghosts pass on to the next world by grabbing Joey's tie and then going into our mind palace. Listen, it's an inherently weird game and world, but I am interested to explore more of it. I'm torn because I'm very interested to play these games. I don't have a lot of great things to say about them, but it's kind of reminiscent to me. There aren't that many things I'm like a hipster about, but like enjoying movies that aren't objectively good has like always been my thing, way before the internet kind of made like ironically watching stuff like a thing. And I don't even think that what I do is necessarily ironically enjoying something. It's genuinely that like I think it's fascinating to observe and contemplate like what went wrong when like a story is just wrong or bad or whatever. Sometimes it's very frustrating because like you had a good thing going and you mess it up. But like Blackwell's just so fascinating to me so far, because like these adventure games feel like, in a way, they feel like they're the first adventure games ever made, because they don't seem to take any cues or information from any adventure games that came before them. It feels like they decided that they had to reinvent the wheel, and they didn't, and I don't know why, and it leads to some weird stuff. Like, as Anime points out, because of the spirits and the general spooky vibe, they wanted this game to take place at night, but like the sort of like travel screen makes it seem like it's pretty late at night, like midnight or later than midnight. And at the very end of last stream, you know, we were investigating the backstory of 2 ghosts, mainly one of them, because the other one is just a dude playing a saxophone and he doesn't give a crap about us. But the other one is like a woman who like didn't want to sell her apartment, but like someone was like trying to buy up the property, and like I don't know, it's not clear yet whether she died under mysterious circumstances, but it seems likely. But like we found out that like she had been talking to a reporter before her death, and we're like, maybe that person knows something about what happened to her, so we can like help her pass on. And so we like go home, check the phone book, because it's like 1979, I think, 70 something, and yeah, for some reason at like 12 or 1 or 2 in the morning or whatever, like we actually get like an answer at like the newspaper office phone, and they're like, yeah, that guy's in his office, you could come talk to him. And I'm just like, it's like 2 in the morning. Why is anyone in the office, let alone like answering their phone? It's like 2 in the morning. And that's more or less where we left off. Join me for some Blackwell Unbound, won't you? Also, hello, Anime and Cotillion, and to everyone who I was chatting with before I started ranting. Hello, everyone. It's 2 a.m. Restore. So, just to make my point...
Come on, let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
This is what the, like, sort of overworld looks like. This doesn't look like a time people are in their office taking calls, is mainly what I'm saying. So I guess we're going to the New Yorker.
Yes?
Yeah, dude's just in his office.
Can I help you?
Are you Mr. Mitchell?
I sure am.
I'm Lauren Blackwell.
Well, do come in, Miss Blackwell.
Katina asks, did I miss the spooky season thing because I was late? No, I assume you're talking about the Discord message I put up. I think that was, yeah, that would have been yesterday because I was working on the thing yesterday. I haven't formally talked about it, but that is a great excuse to talk about that before I talk to this strange man in his office. So, you know, Halloween has historically been kind of a big deal for the channel, and I'm always trying to come up with, like, new things to be doing. I have something special I've worked out. It will either be much beloved or much hated, I think. It does require something of a critical mass of people present in order for it to really have any impact. I'm look at the calendar real quick, because I'm thinking, let's see, September. I feel like I'm looking at like October 12th might be a good day for this based on what people were saying. Do we think that people can be here on October 12th to experience this thing together? The impression I was getting is that people are busier towards the end of the month, which makes sense because, you know, it's approaching Halloween. People are more likely to be going to parties or doing normal socialization things that, like, I have no interest or aptitude for. So, like, yeah, I haven't really worked out, like, the whole October schedule, but, like, this thing is important just to, like, you know, and, you know, feel free to get here and check it out and then be like, I don't know about this, but, like, just, I'd appreciate it if we could just try and experience it together. All right, I'll put that up on the Discord probably tomorrow because of the nature of time and streams and time streams. But that's what I was thinking about. I had like 2 ideas for Halloween this year, and they're both bad for me, which is usually great for chat. Chat loves the suffering of streamers. Is there a minimum amount of people you need? Really just as many people as I can get. It's not concrete in that way. I don't know if you're deliberately fishing for hints, but like it's not something like, you know, Jackbox or whatever, where it's like, in order for this game to function, it should probably have like 3 or 4 people at least. It's more just like, the more the merrier. Feel free to tell your friends. I may spoil what it is like a day or 2 in advance so that people can try and get other people involved. But I haven't like I'm like 85-90% like done setting it up. I'm pretty sure it'll be fine as it's gonna be. Again, I have some concerns that this is the worst idea I've ever had, which is usually a great sign that I should try it. All right, back to the game. I don't know how I'm gonna mark that with timestamps on YouTube. Good luck, YouTube. Okay, so we just got to the New Yorker. We phoned at like 2 a.m. We're like, hey, can we like come and talk to you in person in an office? And he's like, yes, I have nothing better to do. I feel like ask for help is like a normal person thing to do. Get right to the point is probably a respectful thing to do in light of the fact that we're talking to a professional in his office at like 2 a.m. Voice your suspicions sounds like the most
Your name has
fun.
come up in a case I'm working on.
A case? What is this regarding? Are you a reporter or...
I think that's actually an odd... Is this a world where day is night and night is day? You know, Jake, I hadn't considered that. Maybe it is something like that. I mean, ostensibly it's supposed to be a pretty normal Earth world, but there are ghosts in it. So I don't know. It could be like a slightly different world. I think it's weird, though, that we're like, your name came up in a case, and he's like, so are you a reporter? I'm like, reporters don't normally call stories cases, right? Yeah, let me just be as suspicious as possible. I'm doing
No, I'm
research.
just doing some
Wink.
research.
See. You're a student.
More a student of life.
Aren't we all? So what can I do for you, Miss Blackwell?
That's a great indicator to me that none of my dialogue choices up till now have mattered. Hey, Nico, welcome to the stream. You're just in time. It's 2 a.m., so it's a great opportunity to talk to this guy in an office. You know what a reporter's supposed to say? He only works for the New Yorker. Dang, son. I don't have air horn on here currently, do I? I don't think I ever set that up again after the great blightening of the stream deck. Which, incidentally, is another hint as to what's going on. I had to make a whole page for the stream deck so I could...
forever.
So, well, just to make it work the way I wanted it to. About ham horn. I feel like I honestly think that Tech made up the ham horn. I don't think it's a real thing. I think he programmed it himself, and he's the only person who has the ham horn. Diehard viewers of the Renegade Constabulary videos on YouTube may be familiar with the ham horn. My friend Tech, who I used to regularly do YouTube videos with, he wanted to have an air horn accessible on his phone. He downloaded something called Ham Horn. I think there may have been more than the two things on it, but the only things I know for sure are on it are like an air horn, which is what he wanted, and then some guy saying ham in a fashion that's similar to an air horn. It's just like a little bit off-putting. But that's all it is. There's no good explanation as to what it is or why it exists. It's just a ham horn. New Yorker is a quality magazine, but it's not a must-read unless you're rich. I'll be honest, I feel like that's almost more knowledge than I have about the New Yorker. I mainly just know about its famous, like, obtuse, like, comics. Let's see. Let's ask about
So
work.
how long have
Why
you
are you
been
here
working?
at 2 a.m.?
Do you always ask such personal questions?
I'm just curious about the sort of work you do.
I write about people, Miss Blackwell.
What sort of people?
Not the famous sort. Just ordinary people, like you and
Ordinary people. Like me.
you
Oh,
found.
that's
that amusing?
weird.
Oh, not at all.
I was trying to subtly up the volume with the F2, F3 controls, which I tried using last week and they didn't work, and then today they worked. There's something a little off about the Blackwell games so far. But apparently clicking the secret volume control buttons also skips dialogue, so I guess that's good to know. Open my notebook. My name is Ouija Board. Let us talk about Mavis Wilcox, because she's the ghost that we met who thinks she's still in her apartment in a building that's been completely demolished.
Do you know Mavis Wilcox?
Miss Wilcox. Yes, I remember her. Lived uptown a ways before she died.
How did you know her?
I wanted to write a piece about her, so I met her for a spell. Interesting woman. How did you know her?
I'm looking into her death.
I see.
Hey, I've seen adventure games use a system similar to the Blackwell Notebook, where like you basically like figure out like a thing that your character needs to know more about to advance their goal or whatever, and then that becomes like a dialogue tree option. But like, it's just really funny to me that like, literally the description here is on the screen. This top option, Ghost on the Promenade, refers to the spirit of a saxophone player that's haunting Roosevelt Island. I'm just having a normal conversation with a guy who works at the New Yorker, and I'm like, did you know a dead lady? He's like, yeah. I'm like, great. What about a ghost on an island?
Have you heard these reports of saxophone music on the Roosevelt Island Promenade?
Saxophone music on the promenade? I'm afraid not. I haven't been to that area since...
Highly irregular.
Well, in a while.
This is also really good. This feels like this is right in line with My Name is Ouija Board of like New Yorker reporter. It's like we're literally talking to the guy that this refers to.
So tell me about yourself, Mr. Mitchell.
I beg your pardon.
Tell me about yourself.
Yes, I heard you. I hope you didn't come here simply to interview me. I'm afraid I'd make a poor interview subject.
Do you know the Durkins?
Do you know anything about John Durkin, Mavis's ex-husband?
Oh yeah, she did talk about him. Broke her heart, she said. I know they divorced very early in the marriage, and he died several years later, but I'm afraid I know nothing else.
Do you know anything about Sam, Mavis's son?
I'm afraid not. Mavis discussed his son and seemed proud of him, but I don't think they see each other. I've never met the boy myself.
That's all the TV there is. Now, can I, maybe the F2, F3 doesn't work in certain screens or something? I feel like it's not responding now, but it was working earlier. Maybe you just need to be in certain controlled circumstances. Let me see your article about Mavis, I guess.
Let's read your piece about Mavis.
I'm afraid I no longer have it.
Do you know what issue it was in? I'd like to look it up.
I never published it. I was going to, but then Mavis died, and it just seemed wrong somehow. I don't even have the rough copies anymore. I'm sorry.
I think that's all for now.
All right. You have a good night now.
Did I learn anything useful? I don't think I learned anything useful from that, which is a problem because before I came here, I was pretty much at a dead end. We're on the home-ish screen now. Of course, there's no sound of any kind here, so it'd be difficult to know if F2 or F3 were doing anything. The deadpan delivery of all this dialogue reminds me of Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's a little like that, except with Rosa, it's like clearly intentional and part of her personality. And here, I think, I don't want to be rude. This is an indie game, and I don't know where we sourced our talent from, necessarily. But at the very least, I feel like maybe we used, like, you know, just sort of a get-it-done attitude, perhaps? Seriously, did we learn anything? We learned that, like, he wrote a piece that he's, like, that he never published, but we can't, like, access that. That's not how, like, stuff works.
The gate is locked. I'll leave that where it is.
Trying to adjust the audio is tough. Just as a reminder, the in-game options, these are they. There's no... I can, like, turn off speech or subtitles, but I can't adjust the volume in any meaningful way. I would actually love to point this out. I didn't notice this until doing some testing today. If I click exit... Is it not? Oh, no, it's quit. Quit is what I'm looking for. If you click quit, are you sure you want to quit? Quit or play? For some reason, I find this really amusing. It's like, oh, did I hit quit? I'm so sorry. I meant to play the game, which is like the opposite of that for some reason. Is this worse than the Harold Halibut controls? It's similar. So Harold Halibut, if you weren't around for me streaming that game and haven't played it yourself, had absolutely maddening volume controls because you could set them to whatever you wanted and the game just did not care. It didn't care what settings you had, it just ignored them entirely. It just did whatever it wanted. It gave you a bunch of sliders and none of them did anything. Wasn't it even the case that, like, I turned the sliders to 0 and it was still, like, making audio? In this game, there's none sliders. There's secret F2, F3 controls that Demolition looked up at some point that like worked really fine in the first game, and in the second game like have not been consistently working. And like it's just you don't get feedback even as to whether it's applying that. And one thing that's more frustrating about this game than the first is that like, I mean, just like listen to this backing track right here. There's just very few instances where there's like even audio for you to get a sense of like, it is increasing in volume or decreasing in volume. A lot of it is just like silence, ambient, spooky, and crap like that, which is like, yeah, it's fine, but like, if I want to understand if I'm having input on the sound of the game, this is really irritating. All right, what is the button that toggles between these fools? Tab? Shift? Tab, apparently.
Going in again. You know what to do.
Yeah, I'll wait here.
So the problem is, we don't.
Where else can I go?
We don't know anything. We don't know anything, and we can't do anything. And something that's been like consistently wild to me about both Blackwell games is like, I'm so used to even like the early days of graphic adventure games that like things like this character idly talking may have hints as to like what their goal is or what you need to do for them. And like one of the things she says, like, did I leave the gas on? And like you can have like an extensive conversation with her where you like try to pretend to be someone from the gas company because she like is so like not cognizant of the fact that she's dead in this strange place that like you can sort of try to convince her of anything.
I'd like to see them try.
But like, even though it seems like the game is like hinting at something, it like doesn't work at all.
Right. Where else can I go?
I still can't get any sense of whether I'm affecting the volume. Where else can she go? I don't know. And like, again, not even sure if that's meant to be a clue. But like, what's like really problematic about my current situation is that I like just like had a breakthrough of like finding this contact the reporter, and he gave me nothing. And that was like all I had to go on. So like, we can tab, review our notes. We only have 5 notes. 4 of them have to do with Mavis, and they all kind of point towards talking to the New Yorker reporter. And as most of you were here for and witnessed, like that, nothing happened there. We like came in and we said like, yeah, what about Mavis Wilcox? He's like, I heard of her. And we're like, nice talking to you. And we just sort of left. We're sort of like, are you aware that she had a husband and son? And he's like, yeah. We're like, haha, likely story. I must leave. So the best thing I guess that comes to mind is I think maybe I should go talk to her old neighbor and see if she knows something, because I got nothing else.
It's open.
This woman, this old lady, also just up at 2 a.m. and happy to have infinite visitors.
Well, hurry up and ask. I ain't getting any younger.
Open notebook. The reporter. I have his
Do you
name.
know any reporters from the New Yorker magazine?
No, I literally know his name. Wait, hold on. How is it that...
Goodbye,
Hold on, I
Miss
must leave. Um... 2 a.m. is basically 2 p.m. for these people. Seems like it. Alright, the first game had, like, combining ideas. Is it that we need to combine the reporter with someone?
Maybe there's a connection, but I can't see it.
Like, this hasn't really been useful at all in this game, really.
Maybe there's a
Like, it feels like I should be able to just, like, have his actual
No.
given name so I can, like, ask people about it. the first game at night. The first game had day and night. I kind of am of the impression that this game is only during the course of one night, but I'm not that far into it, so I don't know. If it's not obvious, I have not played this game before. I had some familiarity with the first one. This game is kind of a lot different from the first one, and the story is a little bit of a hot mess, which, granted, the first one is also. Do I? What is the garbage in my inventory? Okay, so the photograph was in regards to the reporter. I don't think I had inventory option there. I'm gonna try showing him then. Did I try combining the bottom two names in the notebook? Pretty sure that I did. But they're, I mean, like, the connection is just that they're literally related, which I think is all the game would give me.
Come on in, sit down.
Oh, look, he got special dialogue for me coming back here. For some reason, the game did not think that I would have to do that. So yeah, it's a little irritating that, like, I don't just have, like, normal inventory control, because, like, I would love to show him the Mavis letter and the photo, because, like, that might get more information out of him or something. But, like, yeah, all it will let me do is ask notebook questions.
So tell me about your.
Yes, I hope. I'm afraid.
Have you heard?
Saxophone. I'm afraid. I haven't.
So
Yeah,
what
ask
can
him
you
about
tell
all
me
this
about
crap.
Mavis? I get the impression she didn't get out much.
That's an understatement. I
Oh,
got in
God.
touch with her through a colleague who was covering that demolition. I wondered what made a woman like that tick, so I made an appointment to meet with her.
What was she like?
A very gracious woman. Brought me in, made me a cup of tea, showed me pictures of her family. All in all, it was a pleasant way to spend an afternoon.
This is on me. I forgot that this game wants you to interpret one dialogue option repeatedly that never gets exhausted as something that you should ask about more than once, which is atypical. Normally in an adventure game, either dialogue options disappear or are grayed out when they're no longer useful to you, or, like, there will be some visual indication that, like, it makes sense to keep asking. Like, even at, like, a bare minimum, the end of, like, asking about Mavis Wilcox once would, like, be obviously open-ended in a way where you're like, well, what did you mean when you said, like, and then the Fire Nation attacked or whatever? Like, then, like, it's, like, obvious you should keep going. Like, this is, I think, a pitfall of doing this way. A traditional dialogue tree, it's more like you can just sort of, like, you could just add to the list whatever things you want the player to ask about, instead of giving them an infinite list and expecting them to just keep asking about Mavis like a lunatic.
What happened to her?
Killed, so they say, was found choked to death in her own apartment.
Any thoughts on who did it?
Well, there were rumors that the labor union decided to take matters into their own hands, as it were. But I doubt that. The police ruled it was some squatter or drifter or something, and left it at that.
And
A
what
drifting
did you think?
squatter.
Me? I have no theory.
Why did you want to write about her?
I found her fascinating. She was asked to leave. She was begged to leave. She was even offered lots of money to leave. But she kept refusing. She was too scared. I had to know why.
And what did you discover?
That, Miss Blackwell, is the eternal question. I've spoken to hundreds of people.
Discovered nothing.
Most of them were odder than Mavis. It's impossible to decipher the whys and the hows. As time went on, I've contented myself just with the whats.
The whats? The whats? Yeah, the ghost is here. He was here last time too, but, like, they did do sort of a weird thing where he's just sort of blending in with that trench coat over there. But you're a squatting drifter? Well, don't tell the cops that. Yeah, I probably shouldn't tell the cops that. I imagine they'd be weird about it. How many times do I have to ask about Mavis? Dang, son.
Anything else you can tell me about Mavis?
I'm afraid I've told you everything.
Do you have more to say about her family? You didn't say much in the first
Do you
place.
know anything about John?
Oh yeah, she did talk about him. Broke her heart, she said. I know they divorced very early in the marriage, and he died several years later, but I'm afraid I know nothing else.
I get the point, but that's a weird way to say it. They divorced early in the marriage. I feel like it feels more common to say that, like, they only had a short marriage or something like that. Divorced early in the marriage feels weird. Like there was a set duration that the marriage was going to happen or something. I don't
Do you
know.
know any?
I'm afraid Mavis discussed her son and seemed proud of him. I've never met the boy myself.
Oh man. I know, maybe she was scared of the saxophone playing Ghost, and that's the reason she didn't want to leave. Otherwise, I still feel like I kind of got
Have you
nothing
heard
here.
Saxophone. I haven't.
So tell me
I beg you.
Tell me-
Yeah, I hope.
anything.
I'm afraid I've.
Yeah, it didn't give me any new dialogue options or anything. And if I conclude the interview, I'm just like immediately gonna
Good
leave.
night now.
I like to imagine that this guy like drifts into a sound sleep every time we leave, and then like gets completely set up again every time we just show up unannounced. Let's go to home.
Joey,
Yeah, doll?
I really need to get a bigger place.
You think so? I find this place quite cozy.
So do I. That's the problem. Any thoughts on our construction site, Ghost?
Her? She's not bad looking in
Her?
a motherly kind of way.
Any
And
thoughts on how to
Who?
save her?
Nothing springs to mind.
God, even with the ability to somewhat adjust the volume of this game, the mixing is so rough. Like even just like individual characters like lines of dialogue aren't at like necessarily a comparable volume over time.
Family relationships are
It gets even trickier when the dead are involved.
family
It gets...
God, the clues this game gives you are so bad. They're so unhelpful.
Yeah, interesting. Did you notice his typewriter?
No. What about it?
There was dust on it, and the paper was blank. That thing hasn't seen much use in a long time.
Maybe he uses a pen and paper.
Maybe.
Is that supposed to be a clue?
Any thoughts on our sax playing Ghost?
No more than you, darling. He likes his music, that's for sure. I doubt we'll get anything useful from him.
That's it for now.
Yeah, well...
He's totally John Durkin, right? I mean, I just like don't have any new information. I can't like show him the photo. What do I do? Durkin is Gherkin? I mean, probably. And like my inventory is such a mess too. Like, in addition to having like so little information in a game that wants to function primarily on your like notepad and what's on it, I have the case list, which is a sheet of paper that is like mostly about stuff that like didn't happen before the course of the game. And then like the stuff that like I'm doing currently, like it's not useful at all. Then I have cigarettes, a lighter, a dictation machine that thus far has only been useful for having the protagonist recount her dreams in the most like deadpan, emotionless way possible. A camera, and then like a letter and photo that are associated with that reporter who like, well, I want to say won't give us the time of day, but it'll definitely give us 2 a.m. Can I have this? Can I have a coffee
I
mug?
don't need a cup. I've had 4 cups already. Oh, right. I made a cup of coffee this morning and never washed the cup. Or was that yesterday? That's the second kitchen ashtray, for when I need both hands to take something out of the fridge. The kitchen ashtray, for when I'm cooking or watering the plant. That's the phone ashtray, for when I'm on the phone. That's the couch ashtray, for when I sleep or watch TV.
God, even just like the line reads about the ashtrays in her apartment have different volume levels.
I don't need to clean it. This won't get filled for a long, long time.
How many ashtrays do you need? 5. That was the point of the... Oh no, I'm sorry, 6. That is another one on top of the TV, is it not?
Looks like something is interfering with the signal again. Move away a bit, will you, Joey?
What, you want to watch TV now?
Just for a minute.
You can relax later, sweetheart. Let's finish up these cases first.
But what if there's like a news story that like advances the plot that's not happening organically? Well, this is definitely an ashtray, but for some reason it doesn't have a hitbox. For a moment there, I was totally convinced that I was going to get an achievement for looking at how much she smokes.
I'll clean up later. I should really clean this place up later.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to play this game. Is it possible to change characters at the news office? Hey, wait, the mat has a hitbox.
A doormat. It's for all the good it does.
I was hoping there'd be something fun hidden under it.
Come on.
Right behind you.
Yes. I'm becoming darn.
In a normal game, you'd get an achievement. This is definitely no normal game. It does have achievements, though. No, I can't toggle characters. Which is what I would have guessed, but, like, I don't know. This game... It's not that it doesn't hold your hand, it's just that it, like, assumes you know what it's doing. Not what you're doing, what it's doing.
I think that.
All right.
I honest to God have no idea what to do. And that's, like, not... There's a difference. Like, I've played a lot of adventure games, and you get stuck playing these types of games all the time. But, like... There's definitely a difference between, like, you know, I don't know the solution. Let me think about it and, like, weigh my options. And, like, I literally don't know even what I'm trying to do right now. Like, I really thought the reporter was going to be this big hook where it's like, and now he'll, like, tell me her whole life story. And that'll give me, like, an idea of where to go next or who to talk to or what to say to her. And, like, I talked to him and he's like, yeah, she's super weird. Goodbye now. And it's like, no, like, I have nothing else. I need you to tell me what to do. Let me just, like, go talk to her again and see if that spawned, like, a new dialogue option that wouldn't make any sense to me. But, like, maybe it did anyway. Is there a place I haven't been? Not one that I both have access to and am aware that I have access to. Like, there's some slim chance that, like... in the background of some place there's a door that I could go in or something, but like I don't think that's happening presently.
My home.
If that is the case, then it's also the case it's like not clear that I have access to it. For those of you who weren't here last week, we have to get our friend to knock on the physical door because I don't know, she thinks we're doing an improv bit or something. She just like doesn't believe it's possible for anyone to talk to her until they, like, approach her door and knock. Very normal game and life situation in the afterlife. I guess I have more information about this guy, even though I don't.
Have you been talking to a reporter from the New Yorker?
Yes, such a nice man. He came over and talked to me for a bit. I liked him. He listened to me.
What did you talk about?
Oh, this and that. Don't know why he was so interested.
So helpful.
So, tell me more about yourself, Mom.
Oh, the only reason she's agreeing to talk to us is because we lied and said we're her son.
Just trying to get to know you better.
Well, isn't that sweet? But I
It's not, we're
also
weird.
don't know what to tell you.
Tell me about me.
You're so confusing, Sam.
Never mind. Do you know a guy named John Durkin?
Is that a joke, Sam? You know he's been dead for 10 years.
Sorry.
How can...
Slip my...
Slip?
Just, look.
These conversations in this game in particular gave me what I thought was a really funny idea, which is like I enjoy like an adventure game like in the style of Lamplight City where there's like sort of different endings to it, where like if you asked enough questions to like enough different characters that were along the lines of like, do you know a man named John Durkin who is my dad? That like all the characters would like worry about you and like have an intervention for you by the end, and like that would be like a bad ending. Is like you got committed because you kept saying crazy stuff. Yeah, I'm lost too, Jakey. I just these so far the Blackwell games more than anything I've found are characterized by just like it feels to me like they don't want you to experience the game. Like, I've never played an adventure game that's quite like this. It's not even that it's like hostile, because I've played hostile adventure games before where it seems like everything you do, everyone's just mad at you all the time. It's more just like a weird sense of sheer apathy that like all this work went into creating this game, and it's just like, I don't know, if you finish it, whatever, like I don't care.
Mom, look around carefully. Are you sure that you're at home?
Yeah, this game does need more railroading. It's not how I would probably put it, but I agree.
Clear as day.
Like, normally I would say that this game needs more signaling. And what I mean by that in particular is, like, if there's some unresolved thing that the game thinks is true, it should sort of nudge me in that direction. It should, like, I finished talking with her and she's like, if only I could see XYZ again. Then I'm like, oh, now I go find XYZ and it'll advance the plot, you know? Like,
I'm going to go. I'll come back to
Sure, I'll be. This place is
but like, I could go in this trailer and there's like a calendar that's a reference to the time period, and then like a document that we already did something
that
with.
looks profoundly useless.
These blueprints we can't do anything about. Some objects that this ghost can't really interact with.
What am I supposed to... What do you want me to do? Blow on it?
You hate to hear someone say that. I don't know if I've clicked
Just
the
to keep up
windows.
appearances, I think I'll use the door. I can see that spirit pacing back and forth out there. I can't make heads or tails out of this thing. Oh, look, an ashtray. Maybe the kid should get a job here. What am I supposed to...
Maybe there's an achievement for finding every ashtray in the game. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's the like main goal of the game. But like also, in a game like this, like an adventure game where you have like more than one like character sort of working together, whether or not they're playable, is typical that like you can like talk to the other character as a means of having them sort of like nudge you in the right direction. Like again, just sort of like casually be like, oh, we should talk to so and so. But like these games have been really intent on the characters like really disliking each other, and so like they don't make any progress when they talk to each other.
Yes?
It's pretty quiet here.
Yeah, I don't like it. I feel so exposed with all those windows staring at me. Anyone could look down and see me talking to you.
So what? Worst that could happen is they think you're crazy.
Great.
Think you can get the door open?
I don't think so, Joey. You might have to do this one on your own.
A solo operation, huh?
Yeah. Think you can handle it?
Oh, I can handle it. Just you watch. Actually, I don't have anything else to say.
You?
Oh my god.
That's a first.
Actually,
You?
I can't get a read on that lady ghost. She either wants to slap me or bake me cookies.
You could use a good slap.
I'd rather...
Why not slap you with cookies? Dude, like,
All
what?
right, let's go.
Yeah.
I just, like, I'm just so mystified that a game would be created in this way.
Nope.
Alright, tab. But, like, where? Like, like, what would I do?
It's open.
Like, I don't have, like, new things to talk, like, I don't even,
Yes,
Well, I ain't.
I haven't even been able to add anything useful to my notebook other than the reporter, which hasn't been useful. So I can't, like, combine things to make cool ideas that advance the plot. I don't have, like, new inventory items that do anything useful.
Have you ever been to Roosevelt Island?
I hardly ever leave this room.
Same lady.
No.
I asked her about the reporter,
Do you know
right?
any reporters from the New Yorker magazine?
Reporters? No.
Do you know any college kids named Sam?
No. Never heard of him.
Do you know a John Durkin?
No. Never heard of him.
Goodbye, Mrs. Sherman.
This is also weird too, that like it is an adventure game with an inventory where like typically, you know, you can try showing different items to different people and get different information and different responses. But like both Harriet and the reporter's office, like they're set up in a way where you never have the ability to use your inventory. So like it does a specific kind of railroading where it eliminates options but doesn't in exchange provide clarity as to what to do, which is what I would hope for. Like that's typically the exchange you make when you make the game more linear in that fashion.
No, there's no connection between those two.
Oh, that's even better. I am not 1,000,000% sure if I'd already tried a cotillion, but to your point, if I try and combine the concept of John Durkin, Mavis's deceased husband, and Sam Durkin, her son, Lauren indicates there is no connection between those people.
No, I don't see any connection.
Oh, I'll gladly accept a hint at this point. Give me your hint, Jakey. The phone book. But what to do with the phone book? Because I don't have a new name, do I? I just had, like, Jacob Mitchell is the last name I got. And I don't think he gave me a new name, did he? Because I feel like if he did and I was consciously aware of it, then I would already be searching for that. Oh. I see. Okay.
There's no listing. I thought for sure that would work. There's no entry for that. He's wearing a Columbia University sweatshirt. Columbia University. Here's the number.
Yeah, obviously they're going to answer at 2 a.m. Obviously. Call Jack? Oh, Jack's our brother. Or son or something. He's our relative.
Columbia University operators.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me with that audio. Sam has a sweatshirt. It's unclear to me at what point this photo was taken. He may or may not currently be a student.
How about Sam Durkin? Is there a Sam Durkin listed?
Sam Durkin, yes. Hold, please.
It's about time.
Durkin.
Is this Sam?
Yeah? Who's this?
My name is Lauren Blackwell. I was hoping to ask you a few questions about your mother.
Oh. Questions, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll bite. How do you know my mom?
Well, I'm not a friend because I hate her. And I don't think investigator's like a great way to get a suspicious college student to answer questions for you. Neighbor?
It's her neighbor.
You used to live in that dump?
Yeah,
And you knew Mavis?
very well.
You actually talked to her?
Yeah, all the time.
Where? In the hallway?
Why all the questions?
Because I don't believe you.
Whether you believe me or not, it can't hurt to talk to me.
Maybe.
That's a terrible
Maybe not,
argument.
But if you knew her, you know what apartment number she was in.
I would?
Sure you would. She never left the damn place. So what was it?
Did he develop an accent in the middle of that conversation? I feel like he didn't have an accent, and now he definitely has an accent. So we did talk to her ad nauseum. She's really cagey about it, but she will tell us it says D on the door to her apartment, which is ridiculous. It's just a really weird way to go about life. And if I recall, when we try to talk to her and pretend that we're a neighbor, I think she asks us what apartment number we're in, and like he always says 4, and she's like, that's not right. Yeah, I think it is 3D.
All right, so maybe you did know her.
Thank you.
So what do you want to know about it?
Am I insane? This just feels like such a weird way to go about doing this. Like, I want you to think of like any like detective story that you've like ever seen or read in your entire life. Did like all of your leads come from like cold calling people from like phone book listings? Like, we once gotten like a normal introduction of any kind to characters? I think the closest we've gotten is like a ghost broke into a construction trailer and like found the name of a woman so that when we cold called her using the phone book, we at least had some background information about why someone from that company would contact her. And then we had to pay her $60 for her to give us almost no useful information. Like, I do feel like I'm spiraling into insanity trying to, like, follow whatever this bizarre thought process is. Ask what happened to
What do
her.
you know about her death?
It was suicide.
She killed herself?
Not literally.
She strangled herself?
She chose to die. She had every opportunity to leave. They were gonna pay her and find her a new place and everything. I tried to get her out, but that's my mom. She couldn't be dragged out of that dump by anybody or anything.
Was there always money in the banana
You know
stand?
who killed her?
She was killed by some junkie, wasn't she?
So they say.
You think different?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Good luck to you.
How close were you with your mother?
Close. Think of the farthest place you can and add another 10,000 miles. That's how close we were. Woman wasn't a mother, just crazy on wheels.
Ask about her
Did
habits.
Davis ever leave her apartment?
Never. Not once in the last 15 years.
Question his point of view. What a normal dialogue
You
option.
didn't seem upset by her death.
Upset? Sure, she was my mom. But am I gonna lose sleep? No. She drove my pop out of the house and into an early grave. I once thought I'd follow in his footsteps, but not anymore. The woman didn't go anywhere. Never did anything. She was killing me just by existing.
God.
I feel like I can breathe again. That's the truth.
I'm begging this game to have something happen. It doesn't have to be something interesting or something good, but like I want to follow a lead and have a conversation with something where I actually learn something that advances my investigation of the situation. I don't think that's asking that much. We've basically made no progress the entire game. We just like have encountered more random names and no useful information.
What was it like living with her?
You kidding? I lived with my pop. After 3 years of marriage, he had enough. Glad he had the sense to take me with him.
And after your father died?
I got by.
You never visited your mother?
Yeah, I visited her on Mother's Day. That's what you want to know. Even got her a present once.
Really?
Yeah, for all the good it did.
That's your big revelation? She got a Mother's Day present one time? Alright.
What did you give your mom for Mother's Day?
I don't think that's any of your business, lady. It's been years. Just dust in the ground now.
Bye, Sam. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, the only lead we have is now the concept of a Mother's Day present.
No, there's no connection between those two. Sam got his mother a present for Mother's Day. Whatever it was, it probably got destroyed when the building was knocked down.
Who could I possibly ask about this? if Sam's not gonna tell me. I guess the neighbor? The old neighbor lady?
Come on, let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
It's all.
Mrs. Sher.
Hello, you got me.
Yes, I do.
Well,
He reminds you of
hurry up and
Kojak.
ask. I ain't getting
I'm
any
not
younger.
familiar. In what way? Tell me more.
Do you know any college kids named Sam?
No, never heard of him.
Do you know any?
No.
See, I feel like it's disingenuous to treat Sam's present as the same dialogue as Sam Durkin. Because, like, to be like, oh, do you know a college kid named Sam is, like, a chaotically random thing to say. To be like, hey, I've been talking to you about Mavis Wilcox. Were you aware that her son got her a gift? And it would still be, like, a lunatic conversation subject to engage in, but at least it provides context to the person you're talking to in such a way that they may be able to answer. Kojak is a detective that makes no sense how he figures out cases. I mean, that sounds like rain code to me. I'll admit that it had crossed my mind that something I could do for Halloween this year is just tell people I was going to do something that didn't suck and then just randomly play Raincode and make everyone very upset, including myself. Because what would be scarier than revisiting Raincode? But then I remembered I would have to play Raincode, so I didn't want to do that. Alright, I guess I'm gonna go again. Never play that game again. Yeah. Still waiting on the DLC. Why though? Go on, elaborate? Would it scare you or just make you cry? But Neko, that's sort of like a trick, right? Trick or treat. You could have like a lovely pastry or psychological trauma. I know, why don't I ask the saxophone ghost about the gift that this college-age boy got his mom one time. What like a cool and normal game this is.
I'll be back, Pat.
These games are so well regarded. I'm so mystified by how poorly I think of them based on my experience with them so far. Like, I honest to God, like, I've had frustration and trouble with innumerable graphic adventure games. I cannot think of a single other one that, like, I could find so many points of progress without actually, like, learning anything, without like advancing the game in a meaningful way. Has the reporter about the present? I guess I might as well, but that doesn't seem like a very likely lead.
Yes.
Shocking that he's still awake and willing to talk to us.
Downright popular. Come in, have a seat.
Easter Island Sam and Max scene. Which part in particular? I mean, I did dislike that chapter an awful lot. But, like, the trick or treat is supposed to be a rock, not Raincode. I mean, it, like, as much as I dislike that, I wouldn't say it's comparable. Like, there were definitely parts of that where, like, I did stuff and it didn't seem to accomplish anything and was frustrating. But, like, you, like, literally told me what to do, and we had that whole conversation, and we got, like the most esoteric, useless response, and, like, no obvious way to advance anything with it. And that's, like, the millionth time in a row that's happened in just this game.
Did Mavis ever mention a gift or present from her son?
Now that you mention it, yes.
That's
A
insane.
leather-bound edition of Alice in Wonderland. And and said it was from her son.
Alice in Wonderland?
Yes, by Lewis Carroll.
Yeah, I've heard of it. What was that present Mavis got?
It was a leather-bound cup.
Okay, so we're done talking again. See, this is annoying too. Like, even that turns out to be correct. Like, why do I come here to ask this random... Like, it's so, like, poorly presented. Like, it just feels so completely inorganic at the best of times. But, like, even now, great. Now I know it was a copy of Alice in Wonderland. What do I do with that information? It's not like the ghost said to me, like, I wish I could see the gift that my son got me again. Or, like, oh, like, I miss my most precious worldly possession. And, like, I've been trying to figure out what it is. Now I just know that at one point she had a book, and that's it. That's all I got. That's not useful information in a vacuum. The game does nothing to present a reason why that information matters. I mean, I'm gonna go try and talk to her, I guess, and see if just, like, possessing that information does something. I suppose I could also try calling Sam back and make him incredibly suspicious of me, as he should be.
Sam got his mother a present for Mother's Day. Whatever it was, it probably got...
God, it doesn't even update the dialogue when you, like, get new information. Why are you like this?
No.
I can't see how a present to Mavis from her son and her son are linked. You know what? That's fair, Neko. Even though it's not like a traditional adventure game, it's somewhat similar to Quern, where you could, like, do a bunch of work in Quern and, like, solve a puzzle, and then it kind of just stares at you. And you're like, no, you don't understand. Like, I solved the puzzle. You should, like, open up a new area or give me new information or something. And it just doesn't.
Close. I'm not...
I'm going...
Yeah.
I'd like to see them try.
Hey, kid.
My. Oh,
Hi.
Questions present.
Hey, Mom. Do you have that present I gave you?
which present was that?
The book. Alice in Wonderland.
Of course I still have it. It was the only Mother's Day gift you ever bought me, Sam.
What a
I
functional
see.
family.
Whatever for.
Come on, Ma. I just want to see it.
Sure, Sam. It's right on the table.
Great. Why don't you bring it out here?
You mean pick it up?
Yeah, pick it up and bring it over.
Pick it up. Sure, I can pick it up. Oh! Oh no!
What?
The book, it's gone!
Gone, huh? Imagine that.
Somebody stole it! Sam, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'll never forgive you. Hold my tie. Yeah, that's such a great point, Kronos. Which present was it? Well, you, in response, you'd say it's the literal only thing I've ever given you. So maybe that one? Maybe the one present? Oh boy. I don't know which... do my dialogue options matter? Hey, chat, you pick. Do I comfort her? Do I tell her she's dead? Or do I don't know, question her mothering ability? 'Cause she, like, lost a book? Insult her. What is four? What's four, Demolition? Insult her, that's what Sam would do. You know what? You're completely not wrong. Now that we've talked to Sam, he is a little miscreant. So, like, yeah, I guess probably we should be bad?
You need to find that book, Mom. I don't know if I can love a mother who loses my gifts.
God, that's messed up.
I mean it, Mom. You need to tell me where the book is.
But I don't know where to look.
Try the hallway, because it would mean facing the reality of not being in your home, which I think is the problem.
Maybe it's out here, Mom.
In the hallway?
Sure, in the hallway. Yeah, I'm sure it's out here. Come on out and help me look.
Oh, okay, Sam. But only for you.
God, this is so bananas.
I still don't see it anywhere.
Let's try further down, Mom.
How do you like my tie, Mario?
I'm outside.
Yeah, I knew you could do it, Mom.
Mom?
Sam? Sam, where are we? I'm
Outside.
scared.
I'm right here. Mom, I need you to do something.
What?
Turn around.
I can't.
Sure you can. Just turn around and look behind you.
Oh, where's the building? Where's my apartment? Where's my home? It's gone! Those bastards, they tore it down!
Uh-huh.
You made me leave, and they tore it down!
Hey, calm
In
down.
like 4 seconds.
I've got nothing now.
Mom.
I am not your mother. You are not my son. My son hates me. All I had left was my home, and then I... Oh, God.
Figured it out, I think. Very subtle.
Are you happy now? You couldn't just leave me there. You had to bring me out. You had to make me remember.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's sort of the point.
Horrible. Being dead, it's horrible.
You get used to it.
I don't want to feel like this anymore. Everything
Then grab
is
my tie.
dark and cold. Can I go home now?
Sure. Sure, I can take you home. Just hold on to this. Over to you, kid.
Right.
God, they arranged this cutscene and they still had him clip in front of her for no reason.
Oh my God.
Mavis?
It's so bright and big. It just goes on forever. I just want to go home. Please, can I go home?
I think that's the only home you've got now. I'm sorry.
What a legacy.
We're such
My mom and
garbage.
dad, my son hates my guts. My home is gone. My life over.
Hey, I'm having like a real existential crisis here.
Woman choking me.
Old woman?
She just came in and killed
Wait,
me. She said
was
she
it the neighbor?
Well, what now?
The light, Mavis. Just head
We're not gonna ask any more questions about the old woman who murdered her, huh?
I'm scared, but it feels right somehow.
We're just fine with some incidental amount of information we got from that.
I'm so sorry for everything.
I wish I could feel sorry for you, but I don't feel much of anything anymore. Best of luck, wherever you are.
Feel like your character doesn't get paid enough. Honestly, I'm having exactly the opposite reaction to that. Oh God.
Joey?
Yeah, hi. Glad you're up.
Did you save her?
Yeah, sure. We saved her.
Joey? Is she talking to you?
Yeah, go figure.
Oh, that's upsetting.
Both of you. I only wanted to save them.
Mavis told me she was killed by an old woman. Was that you?
I save just like you.
Who are you?
I am the Countess.
Countess?
That seems bad.
It's the only name I know. I saved them.
This all feels bad.
I helped them. I'm sorry.
Hey, get back here. Don't just stand there. Let's get after her.
Are we doing that? Why are we home?
She's
Why did we follow her?
an old lady.
Okay.
My foot. You couldn't
You don't
walk
have a
on
foot.
one-legged
Skull joke.
turtle with those lungs.
Don't start with me, okay?
I only have like 6 ashtrays like a normal woman. So Neko says, I feel like your character doesn't get paid enough. I honestly feel like I think we're the bad guy. I mean, like, I don't know if it's just, I don't know if it's just some like weird philosophical bleed from whoever like wrote this story and how they think about the afterlife or whatever. But like, it's super weird to me that like, we caused that woman to realize she was dead and then like, set her on a path to the afterlife and she's like, this sucks, I hate this. It's like, did anyone ask for us to like send them on to the great beyond or whatever? Like, why are we doing this? Like, in almost any version of this type of story where like mediums are talking to spirits and helping them resolve unfinished business or come to terms with their mortality or whatever, like, ultimately the medium and whoever is working with them are like the good guy because like everyone wants to find rest in the afterlife. And like consistently in this game it's like, nah, it actually kind of sucks. It's like pretty bad to die. And like, why are we doing this? But like also just like there was absolutely like no rational cause and effect to getting from the information we had to getting her to realize her mortality. Like even that weird thing in the first game where we like filled a dog biscuit with piss pills and then made the dog have to go outside so that then a girl who was studying to become a veterinarian noticed that the dog didn't breathe and suddenly realized she was a ghost. Like even that basically like happenstance makes like a million times more sense than us being like, all right, let's ask her neighbor about something and then like research a reporter who knows like nothing about her and saved no records and then like accost her son at like 2 a.m. and like lie to him, and then like he tells us that he got her one present one time, and then we can ask the reporter who inexplicably knows what it is so that then we can like tell her that we're her son. And like just what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, none of that makes any sense. Piss pills and dog biscuits. Were you not here for this? I literally titled one of the uploads last week about this because it was so off-putting. I mean, the phone book in general is, like, not a great mechanic. I don't remember how the game introduces it, but I think you kind of just have to, like, click on it at a certain point to just, like, see if it does something, and then you can like do searches. But like again, this world is like weirdly open-ended but also really limited in that like it wants to be open-ended like an old school like Sierra game or something where you can like type whatever you want in the phone book to look for it, but there's only like a handful of correct answers and the game doesn't do a very good job of pointing you towards them. And like I don't like it. Just to me, it's not obvious to either call the newspaper in the dead of night and just like assume they'll let me like talk to that guy, or to call Columbia, the college, and like just like have them randomly connect me to an individual student. Like they definitely weren't doing stuff like that when I was in college, and I seriously doubt they had the infrastructure for that back in the 70s. It's the phone book, the internet of the game. Yeah, the first one literally had the internet. This one is back in time, so it doesn't, and now the phone book is the internet? But, like, it's implemented in this really insane, like, unintuitive way to me. Where, like, it's somehow the answer to all of your problems, but, like, in a way that doesn't make sense if you're a person who's ever been alive on the planet Earth. And now I'm just smoking. So, like, I still have the New Yorker reporter? Like, everything else got purged, but I still have the reporter?
I'm not moving from this spot.
Okay, I guess... Oh, hang on. What did that say?
Right now, nothing
Okay, that's bad. There was something on the screen. I wasn't expecting a giant wall of text. I thought when she wouldn't move, that was just supposed to be a cue to switch to the other character. So I hit tab to do that, and I blew past something that was probably important, but not useful. Anyone have the clip action on that? It's really only there for like a fraction of a second.
Not much I can... I can't turn on the radio. Come on, let's hit the road. This place is Boresville Central.
In a minute, Joey.
It's Boresville Central. Yeah, I mean, it was clearly some sort of tutorial something, which is weird after having solved the case.
Hey there.
Heavy
Nobody
use
that
of
old should move that fast.
quotes, quotation marks.
Joey, she could see you. How could she do that?
I don't know. But I think this case just got a hell of a lot more complicated.
Okay, let's see about this. Okay. We need to... Would be... I think this clip is after? I think this clip is entirely after the thing happened. Either that or... Hold on. Yeah, I don't think that covers it. I appreciate the effort nonetheless. I don't know how important that is, but we don't have that information, and this game already gives us very little information, so that's disheartening. Notebook updated. Old lady. Mavis's murderer called herself the Countess. She's a strange old woman dressed in rags. Did she kill the ghost?
She's turning up like a bad penny. She
On the
really-
promenade?
No, I don't see how those two things are linked.
I don't know, let me look up the Countess in the phone book. That's a totally normal thing to
There's no
do.
entry for that.
Let me call Sam. No, let me call Jack. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like messing everything up terribly. Just keep the window open. Thank you. Okay.
Hello? Hello? Lauren, is that you? Sis?
Jesus.
Now, why'd you go and do that?
Just back off, okay?
All right. This is me backing off.
Good.
Are we just going outside now?
Come on, let's get
Right.
Why do we come here? Whatever that pop-up was probably important. Oh, that's weird. Let me go ahead and like save again, I guess. Can we do anything?
I'll be back.
I guess the only possible thing to do is go bother the New Yorker guy. I don't know why I would.
I'm becoming darn right. Come in.
Do you know anything about a strange old woman wandering the streets?
That's so unhelpful.
Strange old women, Miss Blackwell. Some stranger than others. Can you give me some more details?
She
No.
calls herself the Countess. Mr. Mitchell?
I'm thinking. No, I can safely say I've never set eyes on this woman. I'm sorry.
So tell me about your...
I beg you.
Tell me about...
Yeah, I hope you. I'm afraid.
I think that's all for...
All right. You have a good night now.
Is there even in the house like a place where I would end the day? There's just a kitchen and a sofa.
I don't need to clean it. This won't get filled for a long, long time. I'm not ready for a nap. My couch, it doubles as my bed at night. I'm not ready.
So we're not going to bed, but we have like none information.
Ahem.
Sorry.
Can I start a fire? Or was it always burning?
No, it's mine.
Set the couch on fire. Use an ashtray.
The kitchen for when I'm... This is a little... I've been using it...
God, the dictaphone is such garbage. What am I doing?
One down, one to go. One
I
down.
can't even cross this off. It gives me a list that when I complete stuff, it doesn't even remove it from the list. What is this game like?
Let's talk, Joey.
Uh-huh.
I need a change in my...
A change. The day-to-day grind of freeing tormented spirits getting too boring for you?
No.
Are we freeing
Maybe
them?
change
It feels
in
like
paper.
torture.
How does pink sound to you?
Pink? You're not a pink person.
It would brighten up the place.
No pink.
I mean, the current color here is not better than pink.
did she see you?
I don't know. Only folks that can see me are animals and other ghosts. And I don't think she's either.
I don't know, Joey.
Maybe
She
she's the
reminds
ghost
me
of an animal.
Something.
Pardon?
I can't explain it.
Well, if you see her again, you can ask her.
Any other thoughts on Mr. Mitchell?
I don't know, I can't get a read on the guy. Normally I'm good at reading faces, but him, he's either a born straight man or he's hiding something.
Any thoughts on our sax-playing ghost?
No more than you, darling. He likes his music, that's for sure. I doubt we'll get anything useful from him.
That's it for now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna try something. Can I load? Oh no, the autosave is too recent now because I changed locations. I'm gonna double check this, but I was hoping that it might be. Yeah, that's a problem. Just light all the cigarettes. Just burn the apartment.
Sorry.
God, whatever that pop-up was super important, huh? Because, like, I literally got nothing. I don't know what to do. I don't want to speedrun my way back here.
I'm not ready.
Man, hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's see. Unbound. I think is gonna give me the best game fact. Wait, what? What? Hold on. I didn't read very much, but I read something important that was, like, not remotely intuitive to me, which, like, literally made it impossible for me to progress. Apparently, we just did the second case. Okay, let's go to Roosevelt. Let's become Ghost. Now I click saxophone.
hey, I'm talking, Buster.
Hey, you let go.
A, I feel like I tried interacting with the hitboxes on this guy. There's not a lot going on this screen. B, there's like no inciting incident. Like, again, if we're here to be helping these people, like, I don't even know how to articulate this, but like, they all seem content. Like, these aren't ghosts that are like terrorizing people. I mean, allegedly, Mavis was like holding up construction, but I gotta tell you, I live in 2024, and like, capitalism isn't its own reward. You understand that, like, I don't feel all that bad for the construction company that seems like it was trying to strong arm a woman out of living in her apartment where she did not want to leave. Like, I'm not really on the construction company's side. So, like, the fact that they seem to be indirectly responsible for her death and then she inconvenienced them, I'm kind of on her side there. And now I have to, like, start a fight with this guy and all he's doing is playing music? Like, what the F? What the F? Why are we like this? We are not the good guys. Greet him nicely.
I'm Joey.
Pleasure to meet you. I don't care who you are. Nobody interrupts my set.
Question his presence.
Just what are you doing here?
What am I doing? What do you think I'm doing? Get away from me, man.
I need to ask you a few questions first.
Not now, man. Can't you see I'm in the middle of something? Get off the stage.
Stage? Ah!
That's how we treat your
Ah.
kind at Johnny Ivory's.
Johnny Ivory's? What are you talking about? Hello? Oh, we're dealing with a real sharp tack here.
Notebook update. Hey Keen, welcome to the stream. Thanks to Devolution for the ongoing gift sub. We're on month 5 of 6. That's a lot. So now what is that? What did that give us? We have notes.
That ghost mentioned Johnny Ivory's. Will be a connection.
Can I bother you some more? Oh my god.
I'll be back. Hello.
I said, let go of that.
Try some more
I'm gonna
force.
talk to you, and you're gonna listen. Or so help me, I'll take this sax and shove it right up your...
Give me that.
I really kind of want him to like shoot me with psychic lasers or something. Kid says, he heard this is quite the good adventure game. Point A, so have I. Point B, I don't know that I entirely agree. Alright, well, like, I honest to God think that if you had left me to my own devices, it would have taken me like 4 hours to figure that out. And it's like, essentially the first thing the game expects you to do, apparently. So that feels bad. Yeah, if you basically want an adventure game that has its own idea about what's going on and doesn't care to communicate to you in any meaningful way how to progress in that framework, it's all right. So now I guess we're gonna go phone Google Johnny Ivory's, because that's how we do. I mean, like, the pixel hunting of looking for the hitbox on that ghost saxophone is sort of a problem in its own right, but like one that is like inherent to this type of game. But like, it's really made a lot worse when it's not obvious in the first place that that's even the thing to do, which again is sort of my main complaint, which is like, it's one thing for me to be like, I don't know how to accomplish my goal. And it's another to repeatedly be like, I literally have nothing to go on. I don't know what you want me to do at all. Which way did we spell Johnny?
Johnny Ivory's Jazz and Cabaret. It's on Bleecker and 7th Avenue. You up for some jazz, Joey?
You mean we finally get to listen to some real music?
Call it my special treat.
Alright, I guess we're going to there.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
Also, even with us, like, ghost assaulting that guy who's just playing music in an unoccupied area of the city for some violent reason, the only reason this case can kick off at all is because he, like, just, like, exposition blasts us with, like, that's how we do at Johnny Ivory's, which doesn't make any sense because he's clearly not at Johnny Ivory's.
This one looks interesting.
Photo provided courtesy of Jambalaya Records. I assume this is a guy's head poking out from behind a piano and not a woman sitting on like a Salvador Dali tambourine and then just like Kilroy was here.
The only thing holding up that dress is fate. Pretty girl, though. I wonder who she is. The woman is blocking the piano player. I can't see his face. That's him. The Jasmine ghost from the promenade. Looks like we're on the
Is that
right
what we're
track.
calling him? Jasmine Ghost?
This one looks interesting.
Oh, that's good that the piano inexplicably resets when you leave the paint. Also, this is a completely different hitbox, and it shows me the same picture, and it restarts the piano again for reasons. Now, I just want to be clear. There are 4 photos on the wall. Initially, I clicked top left, then I clicked top right. Both took me to the same photo. What do you think's going to happen when I click bottom center photo? Look at that, it's the same one. Why do we have hitboxes?
mister.
Yes.
Got a minute?
For a pretty thing like you, I got several.
Huh.
So what brings you here on such a sad night?
Definitely tell him about the
I'm on a
ghost,
case.
Is that right?
Oh, yes. Very top secret.
which is why I'm telling you about it.
Very.
A guy could get into trouble hanging around a girl like you.
I'm Lauren. What's your name?
Pleasure is all mine, Lauren. You can call me C.
I choose not
Got
to.
it, sister.
Yeah, I mean, my sister has a storied history with adventure games as well. We grew up playing them together. It would be interesting to see her play this, but given some of the games I've seen her play on stream and how she's reacted to them, if I find this game this off-putting, I don't think she would have much patience for it. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, she'd for sure be frustrated. I mean, like, she gave up on Malcolm's Revenge. She loved that game when she was younger. Why are you called C?
Is that C like the water?
That's C like the chord. First chord I played.
It's C like the chord. I could stop playing the piano, but I won't do it. Yeah, and the Pokemon DLC. That was a thing. I don't know. I don't know that I've actually personally played through any of the DLC since Pokemon's done DLC. I really just don't like the concept. I'm not a big DLC guy in general. And I don't know that I take the same level of offense that she did to all the stuff that was in the Pokemon Violet and Scarlet DLC. But, like, there are definitely some legitimate grievances there. And on top of that, like, you have to pay extra money to play this, like, not particularly great experience with, like, I don't know. I felt like it did lean on some of, like, the worst habits of Pokemon gameplay of, like, a bunch of dialogue options that don't matter, a bunch of just, like, go here, listen to other characters talk at you, you don't engage with anything type of stuff. Like, Pokemon's got a lot worse over time about story, and that's insane when you consider that the first ones were on Game Boy, not Game Boy Color, Game Boy. Yeah, I mean, certainly I think the story flows a little better in the earlier Pokemon games, maybe just by nature of not trying so hard. I don't know why it is that the games have gotten, like, more and more, like, wordy over time, but, like, it's not a strength. Like, it's not that I don't think you can tell an interesting story with, like, more depth than, you know, battle 8 gym leaders and go fight more bosses, but, like, I don't know. I don't think we do characterization very well. I think we put weird emphasis on stuff. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not a fan of the fact that, like, the last two, Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet also had, like, really heavy, like, multiplayer emphasis. Like, that's not it for me, dog. Like, I don't have any interest in that. So, like, most of your, like, late game stuff being about that, like, no thank you. I hope ZA will be better. I don't know. I wasn't much of a fan of... I know it's kind of a hot take. I didn't really like the way Arceus diverged from mainline games of the past. It's not that I don't see merit to it, I just didn't exactly like what it was doing. I feel like another game in that series could appeal to me more, but I don't have much drive to give that a real shot. Alright, let's ask about C's social life. I honestly didn't pay very much attention to his answer, other than that it was the C chord, and then probably some dumb stuff
Know
happened.
any other musicians?
I do run in those circles, yeah.
Any of them play here?
Sometimes we get major gigs here, but me, I'm what you call the dependable type. These
And that you're
people
always playing this piano.
all night long.
Can they now?
He's talking about the piano.
Jeez, make him stop.
He's merely talking about the piano and his craft. Take a look at this
What's the
photograph.
band in that photograph behind you?
That picture is old, sister.
It's not that old.
Old enough. Before my time is all.
Ask for
Do
photograph.
you have a copy of that photograph anywhere?
Nope.
Sorry.
There's literally 4 of them on the wall.
It's okay for me to talk to you like this.
I don't hear anybody else complaining.
Dull night, huh?
You could say that. But I think it just got a bit more interesting.
Is that right?
These lips don't lie.
Yeah, like it kind of says, I wasn't huge on Arceus, but it had good ideas like the speed power attack. I agree. I don't know if I necessarily want that to like replace the mainline system, but I like what they were doing with that. I did not like what I saw of like what questing was like. And I'm not like necessarily like a diehard person who's like, oh, a Pokemon game is only good if it follows the like 8 gym structure or whatever. But like, I don't know, the like weird time travel, but you have a cell phone, and then like this weird like meta self-aware like proto Pokedex thing, and that you had to catch some Pokemon like repeatedly in order to just like advance the main story. Like I just again, like I feel like if you're gonna go with like a quasi open world thing, like why would you stick so doggedly to like the tedium of seeing the same Pokemon over and over, when you could just like set up like Elden Ring-esque like things you could stumble on in the world that involved like Pokemon doing unique and interesting things that like you can't tell in like a normal go fight all the gym leaders story. Yeah, I like the Let's Go games a good amount, more than some people, I think. Yeah, I would say, like, I did not like Sword and Shield very much. I liked Scarlet and Violet reasonably well, but it was very rough around the edges. I think if it was done a little better, it would have been a really solid game. I don't have much I can ask him about. Do you know an old woman who strangles people to
I
death?
don't suppose you've seen a strange old woman around, have you?
This is the village system. You see all sorts out here.
She calls herself the Countess.
Sorry.
Do you read the New Yorker?
Nope. Sorry.
I'm looking for info about a musician.
Well, I'll try to help you out. Who is he?
I don't know his name. I think he's a sax player.
I know lots of sax players, sister.
Big guy, kind of chubby, has a beard.
I know lots of sax players, honey. Kind of looks exactly like the photo behind you, you ding dong.
Anytime.
What a weird... Why do I still have a photo of Mavis? What's with this game?
Say cheese.
Got my second bonus photo.
Somebody is already playing it.
What a convenient excuse. I'm so good at the piano, and I'd show you, except that guy is already playing it. Otherwise, I'd play such a good song. But unfortunately for you, that man's playing it, so I can't also be playing it to show you how good I am at the piano.
I'm not here to relax. This place is empty. Good. The less people, the better.
Want to share a cigarette, dude?
A pack of cigarettes should last till the... I can't just take the sheet music. That would be rude.
Can I take a photo of it? I know it will take a while to get it developed.
I don't need a picture of that. I don't know much about piano.
Okay, just to my earlier point. What... And I don't want you to... Don't approach this from a video game sense of, like, what is a thing that, like, methodologically we haven't tried doing. But, like, you've been here on this journey with me. We interacted with that ghost. We made him mad enough to tell us what location we should look up in the phone book. And we came here and we asked a man some questions and we learned absolute stone nothing. And now, what is it I'm supposed to do? Can you, like, imagine if, like, movies work this way? I mean, some do. But, like, they're awful. Have you seen, like, the first 2 seasons of Picard? That's kind of what they're like. I definitely agree with you, Anime, that like the pressure to have like a new release every year is detrimental to making something good. But like what's also kind of insane to me about that is like Pokemon is like one of like the widest, deepest like franchises possible. There's already like 1,000 friggin' Pokemon. And like the possibilities are effectively endless. Like they don't even have to be like RPGs with like combat. Like you could do all sorts of stuff. Like Pokemon Stadium had these like quirky little mini games where you just like played as like Lickitung eating sushi and stuff. Like you could do whatever you want with Pokemon. So like you could make a release every year, but like rotate between teams and be like, all right, every 2.5 to 3 years we release like a major mainline game, and that does like all the stuff that like the diehard, you know, old school fans love, like the gym leaders and whatever and all that crap, like new region and like new mechanics and whatever, just like expand the world, whatever. But like then, you know, you could do your mystery dungeons, your like a Pokemon Stadium, just like even just like use the concepts of Pokemon to develop new things in like other existing game genres that Pokemon hasn't touched yet. Like you can do whatever you want. There's so many Pokemon and so many like unused ideas. Like it's just insane to me that we feel like we have to release a mainline game all the time. I can't say the same, that the noise at the start of the Lickitung minigame is burned into your head. I know I have played that game plenty of times before, but it's been long enough I don't quite remember. Saw a film like this at Gen Con. There was clearly a story happening, but I have no idea what it was. It's never a good sign though, right? Like that's just not how it should work. Alright, so let's like go looking for hotspots, I guess? I thought the microphone was one, but I think it just like kind of overlaps the piano at a section. The sheet music is interactable. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. Ghost, read the sheet music.
We have here. He's written something at the top of the sheet. Property of Cecil Sharp. Aw, how sweet. Maybe his mommy signed it for him.
Okay, like I understand what I got from that. But like in what world... Just like what's the cause and effect relationship like in this game? Like I met a guy and he says his name is C. Like, am I gonna look him up in the phone book? If I want to talk to him, he's right here. Like even if I had a specific reason to want his name, which I don't, why is the way I would go about getting it to check the sheet music he has? It's just so bizarre. I can't wrap my head around the logic of this game at all.
There's a picture of that Jasmine Ghost in Johnny Ivory's, the same club where Cecil Sharp is playing. This could be a coincidence, but maybe not.
Anything else the ghost can do in
How am
here?
I supposed to play it? I have to face facts. My piano playing days are long gone.
This seems like about as good an excuse of, oh, someone's already playing that piano, so I can't be amazing at it. Another part of the problem is the CEO and investors see it too much of a risk to do not mainstream games. I mean, I'm sure you're right, but like, I just don't get it. Like, I just don't understand why it's not possible to, like, invest less money to make smaller scale games and still just print money. I mean, I know that, like, the merchandising will carry them forever, but, like, if one of their big problems is that there's pressure to, like, rush games to market because we feel like there's not enough games to draw people in, then like I just feel like we have the options, we have solutions. We don't have to release like stuttery, awkward, buggy, infinitely criticized Scarlet and Violet. All right, I'm gonna leave this place because I don't. I mean, I'm gonna go look this idiot up on phone Google, but like, I just. Well, you know, maybe I could ask the stupid ghost about him too, which is also like a ridiculously preposterous idea. Is that Sharp with an E at the end?
Yes, there's a Cecil Sharp listed. Just a number, no address.
I mean, I don't know what I expect to happen when I call his house when I know where he is.
No answer.
What good is this information? Let me call the club, I guess? It's busy?
Better go over there in person.
I beg your pardon. You mean to tell me that at 2 in the morning a vacant jazz club has a busy signal when I call it? You're telling me that another person on this earth is simultaneously calling that completely unpopular, devoid of life club at like 2 in the morning? To what end? What do they want there? Are they also investigating a ghost? Could be an off-the-hook ring. There's no one there. Why would you deter any possible business that way? Managed to recreate the 90s point-and-click experience down to the bugs. I actually hard disagree with that. Like, a big part of my complaint with these games is that, like, it has problems that were, like, solved in the 80s. Like, adventure games existed in the 80s, and they weren't perfect. They had plenty of problems. But, like, even then, it was typical that whether or not you knew exactly what to do, there was an understanding that the narrative drives these types of games. And so the narrative, like, indicates roughly what you're trying to do, so you know what you should be trying to accomplish. And this game somehow avoids having that as an option at all costs. This game wants so badly for you to not know what it wants you to do next that it just does nothing. What's that famous, like, tweet or whatever that, like, caused Dua Lipa to, like, up her game as, like, a performer? Like, yes, Queen, give us nothing? That's the Blackwell series. Yes, Countess, give us nothing. I mean, I could go, like, bother the New Yorker guy. I don't know why he'd know anything about Cecil Sharp, but I don't know why he would know the specific gift that Mavis What's-Her-Face got that one time.
Yes.
And when this inevitably doesn't work, I'll go see if I can ask the saxophonist ghost about Cecil.
Do you know a man named Cecil Sharp?
Cecil Sharp. Yeah.
This is an unhinged way to behave.
He plays piano, doesn't he?
Yes. You know him?
Why would you...
Well, saw him play about 5 years ago. That was all.
Why would he... Why would it be the case that this, in all of New York City, this man just happens to know Cecil Sharp, the piano-playing weirdo?
Do you know a man named... Yes.
Not very... That was
And, like, why isn't it, like, extremely off-putting to this guy that, like, we just come in and, like, keep asking him completely unrelated questions with no intent?
All right. You have a good night now.
I mean, if I was this dude, I would have a restraining order against the playable characters, like, way before we finish that first case. Seriously.
I'll be back. Hello again.
I said let go of that.
Do you know a Cecil Sharp?
This is hardly the time, bub. You want to chat? Talk to me after the show. Get out of here! Ow!
Well, that went good.
There's a picture of that same club. This could be a quick. No, I don't see. There's a picture of that same. This could. The Countess keeps turning. Is she really a murderer?
His show is the empty dog performing to the air. Yep. Correct. I mean, I get that at least part of the conceit of this game appears to be that, like, when you die and are trapped roaming the earth as a spirit, your perception of the world around you is not necessarily objective. That's why she felt she was still in her apartment and he thinks he's on stage, but, like, I don't know. It's somehow done in a way that's, like, hard to relate to. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that, like, the characters are so steadfast in whatever their belief is that they don't help relate to you what their experience is like, so you don't know how this makes some kind of internal sense.
No, it's mine.
I have this cigarette.
Probably.
And why do I have this picture of Mavis and her stupid son? And why do I have a cigarette on top of a picture of Mavis and her stupid son? Well, it sure feels like I've exhausted every possible option again. It's so weird that I can't, like, do more. Oh. Does it want me to look up
Legacy of
Jambalaya Records?
Might be worth checking out.
Oh, eat farts.
I'll talk.
It's so funny that that piano just keeps looping. Yeah, let me just call Jambalaya Records at like 4 in the morning.
Here we go. Jambalaya Records, 240 Essex Street. I'll jot that down.
It's just, it's so annoying. I mean, I think I have some like legitimate grievance with the way that this game handles its information. But it's just genuinely pretty annoying that, like, almost everything is just, like, look it up in the phone book. Like, it's what it is it's kind of similar to this trend that I absolutely cannot stand. Which is, like, you know, with true crime and everything, like, detective stories have picked up a little bit in popularity for maybe the last decade or whatever. But, like, no one, like, the majority of people writing mysteries, like, don't know how to do it. And, like, I'm not saying I would write, like, an amazing mystery if I, like, put my mind to it. I feel like I could make a competent one, sure. But, like, it's... I find that, like, so often these days when I watch, like, a mystery story of some kind, that, like, nobody ever actually, like, solves anything through detective work. Like, people just, like, tell them the answers to stuff. And it makes me furious. Because it's just like, that's not... That's basically just having the narrator tell me what happened. Like, one of my favorite examples of this, I don't remember what it's called because it's like one of a series of garage sale mysteries, which are these objectively pretty, like, non-interesting, like, Hallmark secondary channel murder mysteries. And it, like, stars Lori Loughlin, of all people, because she used to be, like, one of their headliners before the whole college admission scandal and various other things happened. But, like, there's one of those where, like, 2/3 of the movie happens and you learn almost nothing. And then, like, nearly a full third of the movie is, like, Lori Loughlin opens, like a safe behind a painting and finds a letter that just, like, explains the whole plot. And then when she finishes reading it, she turns around and someone's got a gun pointed at her. And it's genuinely unclear how long they've been there. And then, like, only, like, 4 more minutes of movie happens after that. Like, it's like, one of the worst things I've, like, ever seen. I kind of wish I knew what it was called so I could, like, watch it again. It's so bad. Oh, man, the bots are out in force tonight, huh? So I have an address, so I presume I want to physically go to there.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
Jambalaya record. Good thing it's in the city. Wow, I should say record store. It's not like a label. It just, why is it? Okay, sure. I feel like I was missing a sound effect for opening that door, but okay. Hey, what do you think this guy's name is? I didn't realize I developed that ability from Death Note to see people's names and their lifespan by looking at them. So sorry you're gonna die in 4 years, Dwayne.
Good evening.
Good evening to you. I'm Dwayne.
Lauren Blackwell. I was hoping you could help me.
I'll do my best. What can I do for you?
So what is this place?
This is a music agency. We manage bands, do promotions, things like that, you know. Well, by we, I really mean me.
You do this all by yourself?
Yep. One-man operation. That's me.
What sort of music do you manage?
Mostly jazz and reggae. Nobody famous. Most small-timers have trouble getting their foot in the door, getting gigs in small clubs, helping with recording.
That's not
sessions, you know,
exactly what a record company would. I mean, on a large enough scale, I feel like that's what record labels do. But traditionally, and especially with like a small record label, I would think that you're just like recording music. But he acts like he's like a talent agent.
You're open late.
Really? Yeah, I suppose I am.
Wow.
I learned to work musician hours, you know. You play a gig at night and have a problem, you want someone to call?
Your clients have lots of problems, do they?
Don't get me started.
I mean, it just seems like a wild time to suddenly draw attention to the fact that we're doing all this like insanely late at night. But okay.
Does the name Cecil Sharp ring any bells?
You know, that name does sound familiar, but I'm so awful with names, you know. Is he part of a band?
Maybe. He plays piano at Johnny Ivory's.
I deal with them all the time, but that's not where I heard the name. This is going to bug me all night.
I'm looking for a sax player.
Well, I can definitely help you there. You looking for a stand-in or something more long-term?
Oh, no, sorry. I'm not with a band. I'm looking for a specific sax player.
Well, if he's a client of mine, I can help you. What's his name?
That's the problem. I don't know. But he's in a photograph that your company took.
Really? Can I see it?
I don't have it.
Then I don't know what to say.
It's always really vexing when a game like this that's like not helping you out like tries to call you out for being ridiculous. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've clicked on like the 4 individual hitboxes that are the photo that this man wants to see, and the game's like, really dumb of you not to think of that. I'm like, is that what we're doing? Is that what we're saying that I'm doing? Hey, do you know an old lady who strangles people to death?
I don't suppose you've seen any strange old women wandering around.
Not unless you mean my mother.
Does your mother call herself the Countess?
Not recently, no.
That's troubling. I want the answer to be no.
really my thing, you know.
So you've never heard of reporter named Mitchell then?
Nope.
Why so accusatory? I suppose you haven't heard of a random old white guy then?
Hey, can you come with me to Johnny Ivory's? I'll show you that photograph I told you about.
I wish I could.
He's like literally working, you
but I have
crazy
a ton of
person.
work to do. Maybe another time?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the help. I might be back later.
No problem.
I finally got the music keys to respond. I didn't think to check for a while. I apologize for that. Anything you want to do, Ghost Guy?
Can't talk to the guy. He can't see me. Burning the midnight oil, eh? He's either really dedicated or has nothing worth going home to.
Why not both? Alright, let's leave this wretched place. Oh, it doesn't count as the exit hitbox, huh? Okay. There's just like so many like dead ends that are so frustrating. Like you just do stuff and the game's like, yeah, what of it? Like, well, I found like a new location with a guy who could have information. Like, well, I don't see how that's my problem. And I'm like, whose problem would it be? So now what? I just like ask this guy about Jambalaya even though he doesn't want to talk about the saxophonist?
Hey, C.
Hello there.
Nope, because I don't have like a conversation topic.
This one looks interesting. The only thing holding up that dress is fate. Pretty girl, though.
Can't ask him about her. God, did we just not test any of the audio in this game at all?
Is your name Cecil Sharp?
Now, who went and told you that?
Oh, you could say a little bird told me.
Tweet, tweet.
Well, you won't go tell
So
nobody,
mad.
will you?
Lips are sealed. So, Cecil.
Oh, man. That hurts, sister. That really does.
Sorry. About that sax player.
Yeah.
He's in that photo behind you.
Is he?
Oh my god.
Do you know him?
That picture is old, sister.
It's not that old.
Oh no, I did already ask that. Okay. I thought that was another one of those ones where like, oh, if you ask him about the obvious thing, he just ignores you. And then if you ask him again, he's like, oh yeah, obviously. But no, I did ask that one. Because I remember him giving that response. But like... I mean, man, if it was 2024, I would just take a photo on my phone. It won't even let me take a photo on my camera. That would take, like, at least an hour to develop. Oh my god, what? What? I thought I already tried that. Is this supposed to be a Polaroid camera? Oh god. Oh jeez. God, the inventory doesn't even like work right. I can't like get rid of items.
It's the photo.
Okay, it doesn't want me to take a closer look at it. I kind of thought Polaroids were more of an 80s thing. We're in the 70s. I just genuinely didn't think we had a Polaroid, but I guess I could have checked that. Just doesn't seem like a thing I would check when I don't think that's historically possible.
Oh yeah, I remember those guys. The C Sharps.
That was the band's name?
Yeah, I used to manage them.
You used to manage them, but not anymore?
Nah. Been about 8, 10 years. Time flies, you know?
Wish I could just clear my inventory. It's so ridiculous. Oh, hey! Hey, look! I made us white silhouette ghosts. That's cool and normal and definitely supposed to happen. Probably couldn't replicate that if I wanted to, but here we are. vaguely curious if I'd be able to reload it and have it
Hi again.
Hi yourself.
do that.
Again.
What can you tell me about the sea sharps?
Oh, they were strictly lounge jars, you know, but I saw them doing more. They really gelled, you know,
Gelled?
in tune with each other. And that lady had a voice like velvet.
What happened to them?
Don't know. They disappeared. Got them a few
Like
gigs
me.
and cut a record, and that was it. Guess they just moved on, or just broke up. It happens, you know.
Nico says it's not a ghost, it's just me at any store. Sick burn?
So you don't know what happened to the sea sharks?
I don't know. They moved on or broke up. It happens.
Thanks for the help. I might be back later.
No problem.
I'll definitely be back later. That's how this game works.
Cecil Sharp, the sea sharps.
Cute. Real cute.
It annoys me that that actually worked and was relevant. It just feels like that sort of goes without saying, but yeah, the game kind of needs you to connect its own dots. It just feels like this game doesn't make very good use of its own limited mechanics. Like, I don't know what to say, man. So I assume I should bother Cecil about that. I guess I just talk to him.
Hey, Cecil.
Hello.
Were you ever in a band called the Sea Sharps?
What makes you think that?
Just the names. Sea Sharps, Cecil Sharp. It's a pretty strong coincidence, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I guess.
So what's your answer?
No.
So some of her dialogue in these recent conversations has had like a distant kind of like hissing or whirring in the background. It kind of makes me think that it was like recorded like vaguely close to like a subway train stop. Nico says that Arcadius has told her she's so pale she can stand in the background for photos for light correction. That's an interesting thing to say to a person.
You sure that you never played in a band called the Sea Sharps?
How many times do I have to tell you?
3.
You sure that you never played in a band called the Sea Sharps?
How many times do I have to tell you?
So I show him a
Anytime.
photo of him in the
He already
band?
knows about this photograph. He seems to be enjoying.
I guess I'll go talk to the saxophone playing ghost.
Hey, do you recognize this photograph? Hello?
Nice try, sweetheart. But I think a more...
Yeah, but he can't interact with the photo, and the photo is like half the point. Whatever, it's fine. Oh, God,
I'll be
I hate
back.
this. I hate that it makes you...
Hello.
I said
I don't suppose you know anything about the Sea Sharps and Cecil Sharp, do you?
get off the
Oh my God. Let me have like one normal conversation.
Get out of here! Ah!
Why is everyone so adverse to like... I once played like a D&D campaign with a friend of mine, and like after like a couple of sessions I just had like a moment where I was like, can you explain why all of the characters in your world are openly hostile towards us? And he was like, oh, I didn't realize that was happening. Cecil might be this guy's kid. He could be all sorts of things. This game will never let us know. I think I'm like out of ideas again. Has anyone said a name that I could look up in the phone book recently? It's kind of our answer to everything. I could look up the C sharps. That seems like an insane thing to do. It shouldn't work, which means that it has only a 50% chance of succeeding.
There's no entry for that.
I mean, I guess I could ask the reporter about the C sharps, but again, I've been given no reason to think that he would have that information. That didn't stop him from knowing exactly what the personal gift was that the son gave the dead woman last time, but it doesn't make any logical sense either.
Yes.
I already got Cecil Sharp's phone number and called it, and he's not home, obviously, because he's at the club, and then it vanished forever. No, I think we're more or less trying to get the name of the saxophone player, and like he and the woman are like the only other people in the photo to get names from, and like I've tried mining that information from people who would have it, and no one's offering.
Have you ever heard of a band called the C Sharps?
The C Sharps. They were a jazz band, weren't they?
You've heard of them?
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about them?
Sorry, I've never actually heard them play. In my line of work, you just pick these things up.
What are you talking about? New York is a huge city. New York is a gigantic city. This is like a nobody band in a jazz club populated by literal ghosts. What do you mean you've never heard them play, but you know of them? The guy who like managed them was like, nobody knows who these people are. What is with this stupid world? No, this was my complaint earlier in Echo. It's never made clear why we're doing this, because the ghosts on like at least half of all the ghosts that I've like sent on to the great beyond have been like mad about it, have had like a bad time, and have like cursed our name for doing it. So like I don't know why we're doing this at like risk and expense to ourselves. Like it makes no sense. Like we just like we haven't done a good job of establishing like why we're doing this. So like it kind of dampens the stakes a little bit. Okay, hold on a second.
I think that's
all right. You have.
I think maybe the game wants me to also combine saxophone playing ghost with the concept of the C sharps, which feels really stupid, but like hasn't stopped us before.
The Promenade Ghost once played in a band called the C Sharps.
No, okay, that didn't actually do anything. I mean, what else can I do? Like I already like I don't know Dwayne's last name, but I also don't know what good it would do me to like look up his last name to get his home phone number so I could call him when he's at work. Dwayne's like the only other person I haven't looked up. Like I don't have a name for Sax Ghost, so I can't like do anything with his name, like ask people about it or look him up in the phone book even though he's dead. I looked up Cecil already. I looked up the record company already, and that just led me to there, where that guy provided me next to no information. He identified the band as the C Sharps, which I think I've managed to accomplish actual nothing with that information, despite being the culmination of all my hard work. Because just sending my character to bed and doing everything possible to annoy the ghost haunting me, hoping he goes away. The previous game suggested that already hadn't been possible. That game was set in the future from here. Can I get drunk at the bar? I mean, a great suggestion considering where we're at in our night, but alas, no hitboxes over here.
I'm not here to... This place is empty. Good. I'm not here to relax.
I really like that.
I'm here to relax.
Not here to relax.
Here to relax.
Like, what else is there?
It's the photo.
Is there like another... God, I hate so much that I can't just like right click inventory items off. Like, what year is it? What year do you think it is, game? I'm pretty sure this came out in 2007 or 2008. There's no explanation for, like, the interface to be this wonky. Adventure games had been, like, solved by the 90s. Press escape to clear. That might work. Shockingly, no. Actually, I thought that would, and it doesn't. But, like, you can't, like, click it back into place, which is kind of a thing. And you can't, like, right-click it, which is also a thing. You can right click it if it's not in inventory? Okay, I feel like I had tried that and it didn't work, but I guess much of the inventory interaction is self-referential, so maybe that's how I've fallen into this trap. But like, I know, I'll use the dictation machine to steal his music.
Why would I want to record that? Why would I want to record that?
What an unintentionally disgusting burn. Just like walk up to a musician, like hold a recording device and be like, God, why would I want to record this awful sound? Record the saxophone ghost player. I think I tried that, but it's been long enough I'm not sure. I thought that's one of the things I tried early on because I had the dictaphone right away and couldn't interact with him in a meaningful way because I didn't think to have the ghost grab his saxophone. So we could try that. Although I'm not sure if we've established rules for like EVP in this game, if it's like even possible.
I don't think he'd want that.
Nah, apparently not.
I don't think he'd want that.
I mean, I agree that it sort of like feels like we're on a classic adventure game trope of try everything on everything, but like this game doesn't really work that way. This game is like way more invested in knowledge that comes from the phone book than it is about using objects in interesting ways to solve puzzles. Like, I'll level with you. The first game was flawed in a few fundamental ways, but was still largely fine. Like, I don't love the story, but I appreciate what it's trying to do. It was done with a small team many years ago. I'm actually a little bit alarmed that this game came out a year later and feels like way worse, like in every way. It feels like a huge step down from the first game, which already wasn't like amazing in my opinion. The whole phone book thing is just a sloppy mess.
Maybe there's a connect. Maybe there. No, I don't.
I have so little information at all to begin
One
with.
just keeps turning up. Is she really? I don't see what one has to do with the other.
On Mitchell and Wilcox. Yeah, Mitchell's the reporter and Wilcox is the lady from the case we already finished. Even though I like probably wasn't optimally using the phone book in the first case because I was, I don't know, naturally just assuming that like the story would happen more organically than to just like cold call everyone at 2 a.m. I honestly think I've used it to its maximum ability based on the information I have right now. I could be wrong about that, but I genuinely feel that I have done that even knowing it's been a pitfall already. Next piece involves the guy at the record store. Okay, fine. Let's go bother him.
Here I don't.
Oh my god. Why are you like this?
Hi again.
Hi yourself. Again.
Was Cecil Sharp in the band the C Sharps?
Cecil Sharp. C Sharps. Yes! I knew I heard the name from somewhere.
So do you remember him now?
Oh yeah, he was the band leader. A genius on the piano.
God, why is it so stupid? I mean, again, certainly some amount my fault. I'm definitely not a fan of this way of organizing the dialogue tree, where you should just like ask the same thing multiple times and hope for a different result. There's like a trope about how that's like a functional definition of insanity, but like sure, I guess we could do that. But like even just the idea that like I clearly already like I have a photograph that shows this man playing piano for that band, and he's just casually like, nah, it's not me. And I'm like, well, I guess it's not him. Like, am I actually a moron?
So Cecil Sharp was in the band The Sea Sharps.
Yeah, that was definitely him.
You have no more information. Like, there's a whole step of this game where I just come to this guy and be like, hey, the band C Sharps, and you've already acknowledged knowing a guy called Cecil Sharp, and I know him, and he's a jazz pianist, and there's a jazz pianist in the band who looks exactly like him. That's the same guy, right? And he's like, yes. And it's like, achievement unlocked. Like, brilliant deduction. Like, that shouldn't even be a step in your
Thanks for the
game.
help. I might be back later.
No problem.
Like, that's like a rain code level of like, my god, look what we figured out, when in reality, like, no duh. Like, literally no duh at all. And now we'll just go back and be like, yaha, and he'll say no again, and they'll have to find some other way to verify it because we're an actual moron.
Hey, C.
Hello there.
I want to talk to you about the Sea Sharps.
I said
I know what you said, and I know that you're lying. So shut the hell up and listen. I spoke to your old manager. He confirmed who you are.
you spoke to Dwayne.
Yes, I did.
That fine. You got me. Yes. I used to run a band called
What is your
Sea Sharps.
what is your
It was a
deal,
long
my guy?
time in my life, and I just as soon forget it. Why are you stirring up these old ashes, huh?
I have my reasons.
Yeah, sure you do.
Somehow that deleted one of the only pieces of information we have.
About that sax player.
Yeah.
He's in that photo behind you. So I know he's with the Sea Sharps and that you know him.
What is this? You from that damn magazine?
Magazine?
The New Yorker. You a reporter?
No. So who is he?
You just don't quit, do you? You want to know so
Why
bad.
is New Yorker
His
linked
name
to
is
everything?
Isaac Brown.
Isaac Brown?
Yes. You happy now?
Ecstatic.
Great.
Hooray.
What can you tell me about Isaac Brown?
Him? He's a bum, a drunk, a nobody, a lowlife.
He is
Also
dead.
And how did he die?
Someone strangled him to death with his bare hands.
Or
Isaac
her
was
bare
squealed
hands?
like a pig.
You don't seem very upset by this.
No, but last time someone asked about Isaac, it was some reporter from The New Yorker. He came along, asked his questions, then bam, Isaac's dead.
Really?
Yeah, so forgive me if I don't take kindly to pushy questions.
I don't suppose you've seen a strange old woman around, have you?
This is the village, sister. You see all sorts out here.
She calls herself the Countess.
Sorry.
See you later.
Yeah.
Alright, time to go look up Isaac Brown in the phone book and then talk to the New Yorker reporter, because clearly something stupid happened. But you don't skip the phone book step. I've learned this. The phone book is essential to existing.
There isn't a listing.
Dead people usually aren't listed in the phone book, dear. Just
That's
the obituary.
not actually true. Phone books only get updated like once a year. There are plenty of dead people in phone books, my guy. That might even be generous. It might be like a longer time frame. They don't get updated that often.
Yes? I'm becoming downright popular. Come in, have a seat.
I'd like to talk about Isaac Brown.
Ah, Isaac. You knew Isaac.
Sort of. Yes, I'm looking into his death.
Really? That was almost 5 years ago. Why
This
the
guy should be so suspicious
Let's
of
just
us.
say that I have a personal interest in clearing it up.
Like, we came to this guy at like 2 in the morning to bother him about like 2 completely unrelated cases of people that he interacted with and then died under mysterious circumstances. Like, he must be so crazy sketched out by us. It's unbelievable.
Anything else you can tell me about Isaac? Why do you want to write about him?
I don't want to go too in depth. Out of respect, you understand?
Sure.
I was drawn to him for the same reasons I'm drawn to anybody I write about. I felt he had a story that could reach people, enrich them, perhaps learn from.
Really?
Miss Blackwell, spend some time talking to the poor and the downtrodden. Walk down the Bowery and speak to the half-wits and the have-nots in 1 hour.
I don't think calling them half-wits is a great start.
Good from a lifetime of schooling.
I mean, like, there's kind of an interesting sentiment buried in there, but it's really tough to take that on face value when he's like, talk to these sketchy Nimrods and then you'll learn about life. So that's all you're going to tell me? I mean, I've asked him this before. I don't think this would change. He is the New Yorker reporter. And we'll just be like, tell us about yourself. And he'll be like, no.
So tell me about yourself, Mr. Mitchell.
I beg your pardon?
Tell me about yourself.
Yes, I heard you. I hope you didn't come here simply to interview me. I'm afraid I'd make a poor interview subject.
And why? I guess just because it's in the notebook I can still ask about it.
So what was Isaac's story? I know he played in a band called the Sea Sharps. Then something obviously went wrong. What was it?
Listen, have you tried asking Mr. Sharp?
Yes. He's not talking.
I don't blame him. He's probably feeling guilty.
Guilty? Why?
He has his reasons.
Could you,
oh my
I don't know,
god.
tell me what
Everyone
you
is
think
so
about it?
annoying.
I can't do that.
Of course he can't.
These types of roadblocks are much more compelling when they're not literally every interaction.
Mr. Mitchell, I need to know what happened.
Listen, I don't like this. I don't feel comfortable talking about people without their consent. I won't say any more about Isaac or his sister.
Sister?
Sister?
Please, I'm not gonna say anymore.
Oh, good. Let's go ask like 1,000 people about his sister and then look her up in the phone book.
Who was Isaac's sister?
I told you, not another word.
About Isaac Brown.
I told you, not another word.
Are there two different line reads for this?
Who was Isaac's sister?
I told you, not another word.
About Isaac Brown.
I told you, not another word.
There are two line reads for that. Why is that true?
I'd like to read your piece about Isaac.
Well, I'm afraid I can't help you there.
This guy doesn't actually publish anything, huh?
It seemed a bit in bad taste.
Since when do reporters care about bad taste?
Since when do reporters care about bad taste?
You don't have a high opinion of journalists, do you?
Well,
My ghost certainly doesn't.
things.
Oh no, don't worry about it. I'm well aware of the stereotype. I've written about deceased persons before when I felt it was in the public's interest. But Isaac, well, I felt the man deserved some peace.
If you felt his story could reach people, enrich them, as you say, why didn't you publish the story?
Listen, Miss Blackwell, Isaac didn't just die. He was murdered. Someone reached around his neck and strangled the life right out of him. That puts
Okay,
a little damper
that doesn't
on the
really-
story I wanted to tell.
So nobody will hear the story.
All my notes on him have been destroyed. Isaac's story might not have reached the people, but it reached me. Maybe that's enough.
What is this guy's deal? I mean, it feels like he has a connection to the Countess. Because, like, how else would this have happened more than once? Like, that seems unreasonable. But, like, how does this guy have a job? He's like, I keep researching these stories and then destroying them entirely without publishing them. I haven't published an article in 47 years.
I think that's all for...
Alright, you have a good night.
Alright, I think we should go talk to Dwayne, because I sure don't think Isaac's gonna help us. Like, this is, like, real talk. Sincerely. Does it seem like compelling storytelling to anyone for us to just keep talking to the same three people over and over, hoping one of them will, like, accidentally tell us something? Like, no one wants to help us. We can't, like, use our ingenuity or skill in any way to help advance. It's all just, like, pure trial and error to get someone to, like, slip up, say a name, look it up in the phone book, and then, like, hope that that somehow solves the case in its entirety, because no incremental amount of knowledge has helped us accomplish anything. I don't know what makes a person write this story. I don't understand it at all. It's so hard for me to, like, relate to.
Hi again.
Hi yourself. Again.
Do Do you know anything about Isaac Brown's sister?
Sorry, no. I
She was in the
barely knew
band, I
guy.
promise. Barely knew the guy. You were their manager, you ding dong.
That sax player from the C Sharps. His name was Isaac Brown. Does that mean anything to you?
No, sorry. I remember the sax player. But I never spoke to him, you know? Quiet
Oh my
fella.
god.
Born to play the sax. That's all I know.
Do you read The New Yorker?
The New York. No.
No,
So
I
you've
asked him
never heard of
about
a
this.
reporter named Mitchell then?
Nope.
Let me try something stupid.
Thanks for the... I might be...
Nope.
Say goodbye. Check notes. Combine Isaac Brown with Isaac Brown's sister.
So Isaac Brown had a sister. The plot thickens.
Alright, that did nothing, which is what I expected, but I had to try it anyway, because that's the game we're playing. Well, I guess that leaves us with Cecil. I'm sure he'll be very forthcoming about this.
Cease.
What?
I need to speak to you about Isaac's sister.
You? That's it! You've crossed the line, sister. It was fun for a while, but now it's time for you to leave.
Ooh, now you've done it.
I don't think choices matter in this game. I'm a fight.
Look, Buster, I've had it up to here with this. I need information, it's stuck in your head, and I plan on getting it out.
Less talk and more get the hell out.
I'll leave, but I'll be back.
You really have a way with the fellas, kid. Ah, don't sweat it. His bark is worse than his bite.
Just immediately talk to him
Just
again.
don't-
Hello, Cecil. You're upset. I didn't want to upset you.
I'm upset. Yeah, great observation. If you're so concerned, why don't you just leave? That would make me feel much better.
I'll leave, but I'll be back.
Well, we'll have to change our tactics if we want to get him to talk.
Well, I'll just keep clicking on him until I run out of options,
Hello,
because that seems to be
Cecil.
working. I feel like it wants me to show contrition, but I'm not doing
What are
that.
you gonna do, throw me out?
Oh, is that a challenge? Don't tempt me, lady. Leave.
Okay, this is me, leaving you alone.
But I'll be back.
Ever think of moonlighting in PR? You're so good at talking to people. Seriously, whatever you're doing, you can't handle it this way.
Oh, it's you.
Hello, Cecil.
Anything but show
I
contrition.
really need to know about Isaac's sister. It's very important.
Yeah, well, we all have problems. And my problem is you. So leave.
I'll leave, but I'll be back.
Stop and think, sweetheart. Soon as Piano Boy sees you, he gets all bent out of shape. You won't get anywhere this way.
So I have to disguise myself. It's so funny that this is like the one thing in this game that they like want to hint like incessantly, when it's like, no, this is just like a dialogue tree. It's just like a regular dialogue. Like this is like the baseline of like adventure game interaction.
Look what the cat dragged in.
Hello, Cecil. You want to forget the past, you say?
Yeah,
Then what's with the picture behind you? If you wanted to forget the past, why'd you keep the picture?
I have my reasons. Leave it alone. Just leave me alone.
Fine, I'm going.
But I'm back.
You're hopeless, you know that? A shame I can't talk to him. I know his type.
You just don't give up, do you?
That goes so
it.
right.
I'm
If the
like
game has
that
taught me
big.
anything, doing the exact same thing that hasn't worked multiple times is the way to progress.
I just...
Shut it! Just leave, why don't you?
Okay, this is me, leaving you alone.
Darling, dear, you obviously can't handle this on your own. Maybe I can be of use?
You just don't.
Hello, Cecil.
What is it I'm supposed to expect him to do? At most, he's able to, like, cause a light rustle of ghost wind.
Look, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're sorry. Sorry ain't enough, sister. Leave.
Okay.
I would also argue that,
Darling
like,
dear, you obviously can't handle
there's
this on
genuinely
your
something
own.
I find weird about this use of signaling, of them trying to have him be the solution to this, but then to provide an unprecedented amount of options. Like, for this entire case, I've never had more than like 4 dialogue options at any one time. And then I suddenly have like 8 different dialogue options. Like, if your intent is for me to not do this, why create so much incorrect thing to do when it's just more work to code those options, more time and cost to record extra dialogue? Like, why do it that way? But, like, what is he gonna do? I tried showing contempt. You know, I really should have considered that.
This one looks interesting.
Oh, I swear to God, you're just gonna look at it? Big help you are.
Nothing's changed since the last time.
Alright, smart guy, you were so intent to do something. What do you suggest that it be?
How am I supposed to play it? Have to face facts. My piano playing days are long gone.
Am I supposed to leave to trigger the event? I feel like no. I think the idea is I'm supposed to do something as the ghost. That shouldn't require me to leave. Because, like, it is canonically established that if she leaves, he leaves. Like, I can't have her wait outside and him go in, and also he's a ghost, so he can't, like, talk to him. I did click on the sheet music and he said nothing has changed since last time. That's where we got his name from.
Nothing's changed since.
And I tried
How am
clicking
I
the
supposed to
piano.
have to face fact?
And he complains that he can't. I guess.
I know that expression. Only time a man gets a look like that is when he's hung up over a woman. Go easy on him, huh? I think he cares more about that gal than he lets on.
Why would I need someone to tell me that? That's so obvious that, like, it wouldn't even occur to me to try and investigate that. Let alone the way I start to wonder if the person who wrote this game has, like, conversed with humans. 'Cause, like, I'm thinking that now...
Look what the cat.
That's me.
Can show sympathy.
You loved her, didn't you?
Of course I loved her. She was our heart and soul. I would have... Damn you, woman. Damn you. I just want to play this piano and forget she ever existed. Why don't you just leave me alone?
Sympathy?
Obviously, something's wrong. Why don't you try talking about it?
What is this? Some kind of psychotherapy? You here to get me to open up about my feelings?
I'm here for Isaac.
He's not worth it, and neither are you. Just get out of here.
I'll leave, but I'll be back.
Darling dear, maybe.
It's a good thing that they don't have security
You
here.
just don't...
We need... So what happened, C? It's very important that you tell me.
All right.
There's no reason that this should
Why
work.
you're so interested. But you're never gonna leave me alone, are you?
No, I won't. You were in a band together, right?
If that's all it took, that should have happened ages ago.
She died. Then he died. End of story.
How did you meet Isaac's sister?
First of all, her name was Sarah. I was
Great, I'm gonna look up
sorry,
Sarah
man,
Brown.
And I saw them perform together. She could sing like it was magic. Such energy, such life. Such a waste.
What happened to Sarah?
She got sick, pneumonia or something. Started coughing one day and wouldn't stop. She got better after a while, but something happened to her voice. Doctor said she would never sing again. After that, the spark just went out. She hung on for a few months, but she just lost the will to live.
Anything else you can tell me about Sarah?
I loved that woman. Even when she lost her voice, I would have given up everything for her. Heck, I would have even let her brother live with us. I should have told her.
You know, to Neko's earlier point, she was sort of joking, but, like, if this game has taught you anything, it's that doing the same thing over and over will cause progress. But, like, that's, like, literally what we just did. Like, the game wants to act like it did something clever, where, like, you switch to the ghost and then, oh, he's so smart. He realized that this guy was in love with the dead girl. Like, it's not the literal most obvious possible outcome. But then, even then, the only way to get this guy to open up about the backstory information that we need is to just keep accosting him. And then he's like, well, I guess if you'll never shut up, I'll tell you about it, which is literally what we were doing beforehand. Like, nothing functionally changes there. We don't learn anything new about their character or ours, and we don't, like, do anything clever. Like, it's so preposterous to me.
About Sarah.
I told you everything. Please, just stop.
What was Isaac really like?
That fat bastard. He was good on the sax, but that was the end of his good points. He drank, he was violent, he was useless in every other way. But Sarah could calm him down. She was the only one.
Was he not good at arts and crafts?
Sarah, I never would have kept him around.
What happened to
did you
Isaac
kill him?
after Sarah died?
He went to pieces. What do you think? Oh, he couldn't cope. Drank way too much. Started fights during gigs. I tried to stick with him out of respect for Sarah, but let's face it, he was a big, dumb embarrassment.
So you cut ties with Isaac?
Completely. Told him he was a drunk and a lowlife and wasn't worth the peanuts I paid him. Which was, let's face it, totally true.
What happened?
He beat me senseless is what happened. Knocked me out with the sax I bought for him. Then he became a bum. Spent the rest of his life living on the streets of Roosevelt Island till he got killed by some drifter.
You don't know who killed Isaac?
Yes, I killed him.
Oh, come on.
No, I did. I'm not the one who put my hands around his neck or choked him to death, but I killed him just the same.
You shouldn't be so hard on yourself.
I know that. My brain knows that, but my heart won't listen.
Can you tell me anything else about Isaac?
No, I've told you everything.
See you later.
Yeah, you know, all this talk reminds me of something. Sarah and Isaac would always play this song.
Really?
Yeah, a duet. At the end of every show.
She'd sing and he'd play the saxophone?
No, she'd actually play the piano, if you can believe it. She wasn't great, but she loved playing with Isaac, and Isaac loved that silly song. They never let me join them, but that was okay.
I need to
It was
record
kinda
it.
sweet.
It's important.
Oh, well.
Hold on.
Cecil.
What?
What was the duet that Isaac and Sarah used to play?
Oh, that. It was just a short little thing. Isaac would just improv the whole thing. But Sarah's was always the same. Went something like...
Sounds like the music you would play to rest in a Final Fantasy game.
After Sarah died, Isaac would play gigs, but refused to leave the stage. He'd blow on his sax, playing anything that came to mind. Feet planted like a statue.
He'd just keep playing?
He'd play forever if I didn't get 4 guys to drag him off. I think he was waiting for Sarah to play with him. He was supposed to finish each show with her, and, well, in his heart, he refused to believe she was dead.
I don't know in what way this game wants me to use my inventory item of dictaphone to record that, but trigger it in the correct fashion.
See you later.
Yeah.
Hey, for Twitch, welcome to the stream.
Why would I want to record that? Why would I want to record that?
Like,
Why would I
clearly the sensible thing to do is to get him to play her part of the duet, record it, and then play that for him, because it will be a
I don't know
signal
much about pianos.
for him to stop playing. But obviously this game won't let me just do that. It wants me to, like, look up some garbage in a phone book or something. Which I'm going to go do. And it doesn't make any sense to do it because she's dead. And apparently people who are dead are immediately stricken from all physical phone books. But, you know, what choice do I have?
There's no entry for that. So Isaac Brown had the plot.
I genuinely, like, it has to be correct
Right behind
to
you.
record that song, right? Like, it's the only thing that makes any sense. But how do I do that? Like, in a normal game, you would just, like, click the recorder on the piano and then talk to him or something along those lines.
This is a little recording device. It's called a dictaphone.
Later,
I've
Keen.
been
Thanks for
using it to
hanging
record
out.
my dreams.
Hope you have a good one. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you were here for it before. I think we're shooting for October 12th as a big special Halloween stream of sorts. It's going to be weird. I don't want to say too much just yet, but I'm pretty sure I can get it to work. And I need as many people to contribute their power to the metaphorical spirit bomb as possible. So mark your calendar if you're interested. Come hang out, and it'll be different.
Why would I want to record that?
I don't know. Why would I want to record an emotionally relevant piece of music for a ghost who I'm trying to get to acknowledge their mortality so they'll pass on to the other side? Why would I have interest in something like that? Can you memorize the sheet music?
Nothing's changed since. What am I supposed to do? Blow in his ear? He's not really my type.
That sounds like quitter talk.
Somebody has already...
Am I supposed to, like, get a record from the record guy? Since I already have a recorder, this feels like a needlessly roundabout way to do this, if true.
Hi again.
Hi, yo.
Do you know anything?
Sorry, I barely.
You don't...
No, quiet fella.
Thanks for the... I might be...
No.
Seems weird to have made this whole environment when this guy doesn't contribute almost anything to this story, realistically. Is Joey, like, capable of just magically reproducing music perfectly?
Hello again.
I said, let go of that.
Tell me about your sister.
Huh? What you want with my sis?
Nothing. I just want...
You stay away from my sis, you hear?
All right, Mac, relax.
Get out of here!
Ow! Hello. You're Isaac Brown, aren't you?
What's it to you, man?
So you are Isaac Brown?
How do you know me? Get away! Get out of here!
Bunk.
Ah! Hello. What do you know about a reporter named Mitchell?
Mitchell? I'm not sure. He's a nice man. He asked me about my life. He bought me a drink. Gave me $10. Hey, what are you doing on stage, man?
Oh, here we go again.
Get out of here!
Bunk.
Ow! Nope, I don't leave. Nope, I don't leave.
Hey, did you give that guy a drink and $10?
Yes.
And also, are you indirectly responsible for his death?
I'm becoming downright popular. Come in, have a seat.
Is this guy like a vampire thrall to the Countess? Like he researches people who will be missed or some garbage?
Who was...
I told...
About Isaac...
I told...
Are you sure you've never...
No, I've never met a woman like that.
So tell me about your...
I beg...
Tell...
Yeah, I hope you... I'm afraid...
It's just impossible to make any progress in this
think
ludicrous
that's all
game.
Alright, you have a good night.
don't have any more names to... I mean, it just has to be the stupid song, right? It's so obvious. I don't know how the game expects me to obtain the song. That's all I don't understand.
Why would I want to why would I want to record that? Why would I want to record that?
A hostile woman.
Why would I want to...
Like, I cannot wrap my head around this. Like, there couldn't be a more obvious thing that I would need to help, like, a saxophone player who, at the end of his life, refused to stop playing on stage because he was waiting for his deceased sister to play him off. Like, there couldn't be a more obvious emotional hook to get him to acknowledge the end of his time on this earth and pass on. So, like, let me record it, ding dong. Technically, Demolition, we're on case 1. We did case 2 in its entirety, and then had nothing to do, and then I had to look up how to start case 1 because it was so obtuse that I didn't do it. Like, does anyone have, like, a legitimate idea here? Because, like, it just seems so obvious that it's this that I'm struggling to think of, like, how else I would do this. Like, the only other thing that comes to mind is to, like, get a record, but that guy, like, he won't sell me a record.
I don't think he... Why would I... I don't know much...
Hold on.
Cease.
What?
Could you play that song again?
Yeah, sure.
That's so stupid. That's very stupid.
I think I've recorded enough.
It's so annoying just because, like, I obviously know to do that, but the game will only let me do it in its way. Like, I've been trying to do that for, like, 5 minutes, and they're like, no. Even though normally, when you talk to people, you don't have access to your inventory, this one time will let you have access to your inventory just so it's not obvious how to solve this really straightforward thing. This game does not want you to play it. I don't know why. All right, now we just go to Roosevelt Island, play that song, and we're done, basically. Unless the devil shows up again. I mean, she has to be the one to do it because it's a physical object. I like that he, like, stopped in anticipation of something emotionally relevant to him. Yeah, it's definitely like 2 a.m. like a year from when we started. For sure. It's just like, it's frustrating how like the story is like framed in such a way that like the expectation is for you to keep going back and forth between people.
Hi. Sis? Is that you, sis? I've been waiting for so long.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, Isaac. It's me, your sister.
Sarah? Sarah, what happened?
You're white now.
You're not my sister.
No, I'm a ghost.
No, I'm not.
No, you couldn't be, could you? My sister's dead, isn't she?
Yeah.
Now I'm dead too.
Yeah.
I knew that. Deep down, I knew that. I just couldn't let go.
I'm sorry.
Is that why you two are here? To help me let go?
That's what we do best.
By brute
I'm not
force.
sure what I'm supposed to do.
Don't worry. Just leave everything to us. Here, just take this.
Whatever you say.
Hold on tight. This is the fun part.
It looks so unpleasant.
Hi, eternity, the white light, the passage into the next world.
It is something, alright. I still can't believe I'm dead. Crazy old lady, she killed me.
Old lady?
Yeah, said she wanted to help me. Then goes and chokes me.
I'm sorry, what? This seems really important.
Sorry, I wish I knew.
I don't think it matters anyway. It's time I joined my sis.
Just head into the light.
Thanks, lady. You've been real kind. And tell your friends sorry for the crack on the head.
The like 70 of them, repeatedly over and over.
Another day, another spirit gone to their rest. Rest. Well, that's a nice word.
You alright?
Yeah, fine. I'm exhausted. Call it a night?
Sounds good to me.
You.
Like clockwork.
You saved him?
Yeah, sure we did. No thanks to you.
We've got some questions for you, lady.
What if she steals his tie?
Mavis?
I didn't kill them. I'm like you.
You're nothing like us. We don't kill.
I help spirits into the next world.
By brute force, just like you.
You're a medium?
Yes,
But you can't be.
I am like you.
Wait.
Don't
no,
you have a
this doesn't
crappy
make any
1920s
sense.
ghost?
Why are you killing people?
I save people. I don't hurt them.
Get back here! Stupid old hag! Let's get after her.
There's something off-putting about, like, let's chase her, and then we show up at our own house.
That lamppost should not have been there.
Still have the
I'm
stupid
not moving from
dictaphone.
this spot until I finished my cigarette. Absolutely not. Right now, nothing exists except for me and this cigarette.
So much for rest. We might go to bed, or maybe not.
Feeling better?
I'm so confused, Joey. I feel like the answer is on the tip of my tongue. I just can't figure it out.
What answer? Why would you know anything about this woman?
Brainstorm a bit. Maybe we'll come up with something.
She's a medium like me. It makes no sense.
It does make sense, actually. She's not an animal or another ghost. The only way she could see me is if she was a medium like you.
This is the thing I want to know, but we'll get there in
Why
time.
would a medium kill?
Maybe she doesn't think of it as killing. She
Clearly
thinks
she doesn't.
helped people, saved them.
By killing them?
Maybe
I
she
helped
thought
them be
were
dead. More dead than they were
Davis
before.
and Isaac were sad, mixed up people, but they didn't deserve to die.
Maybe she thinks otherwise.
Is she my future?
What do you mean?
That woman, the Countess, or whatever she's called. Is that what happens to mediums when they get old?
I don't know, darling. I really don't. But I won't let that happen to you. You have to
Whoops. Whoopsie.
If she's a medium, where is her spirit guide?
You know, I wondered that myself. I'm your connection to the spirit world. The Countess, or whoever she is, doesn't have that. Or at least none that we can see.
Is it possible to be a medium without a guide?
I don't think so, sweetheart. That's one
How would
thing
you
I'm
know?
sure of.
How would you know?
And guide. That's how it works.
If you've never encountered one before, how do you know that that's the rules? That doesn't make any sense. They're like, wait, another spirit medium can't exist. And she's like, well, is it possible that they exist without a spirit guide? And he's like, absolutely not, for some reason. He even like literally said at one point that like there aren't like rules written down. So like, how would he know that? Who did he talk to find that out? Who did he look up in the phone book?
What could have happened to her spirit guide?
I don't know.
I thought you couldn't leave my side.
I know. Either her spirit guide managed to escape,
Or what?
or it was killed.
Is that possible?
I don't know. I don't think I want to know.
Well, I think there's another option, weirdly enough. What if two spirit mediums guides encountered each other and one of them like forcibly passed on the other one, like we do with our stupid tie? It wouldn't technically be killing them, although I guess you could consider it that. But like, they're a ghost who's trapped on this earth. The point of spirit mediums is to stop that from happening, to make them pass on to whatever the afterlife is. So like, could that not technically happen?
So what could her connection be?
Dunno. Something has to connect her to the spirit world. It's not another ghost or we would see it. So it must be something else.
Ouija
Something that has
board.
a connection to everything we've seen.
Or someone.
Yeah, that's it. The Countess connects these two cases. There has to be something or someone else that has the same connection.
Yeah, the stupid reporter, you ding-dong.
Joseph Mitchell?
Bingo!
The reporter? How could he have this kind of power?
I don't know how he got the power, but it all fits. He wrote about both Mavis and Isaac, and the Countess killed both of them. He seems like the best candidate.
But it doesn't make any sense.
Think about it. You're a medium. What is it that mediums do?
Deal with Joey.
Listen to misogynistic ghosts all day.
Ha ha. Look, I'm trying to be serious for once.
We help spirits into the next world.
Exactly. A medium needs a guide. Hers is gone. Somehow Mitchell fills in the gap. Our Countess is being told through Mitchell's writing to help certain spirits into the next world. It's not her fault they're still alive.
You mean...
I think you get the picture.
Oh God, that's sick.
It makes sense, though.
It
How
doesn't
is this
really.
possible?
It's an answer, but it doesn't make
It's
sense.
time we paid our friend Mitchell one more visit.
Just one more? Oh, yeah, I'm still the ghost.
I'll clean that up later.
It's a miracle that the carpet hasn't been replaced with cigarette ash.
Come on, let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
Yes,
Nope, this is case 2.
Miss Blackwell.
Hello again, Mr. Mitchell.
I was just about to head home.
Oh, I'll just be a second.
Well, if you insist, do have a seat.
I was about to head home now that it's 6
Go
a.m.
on, let him have it.
Mind if I smoke?
Well, actually,
Thanks.
She just summoned
Miss
it.
Blackwell, my patience is wearing thin. My family is waiting for me. Tell me what you want.
She threw that cigarette butt onto the entry mat? Absolutely, yes. She did that, for sure.
You finished your writing for the day, Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, yes, I have. And now I'm going home.
He's full of hot air. The page is blank.
You haven't written anything today, have you?
Why do you say that?
The paper is blank.
What? How do you know that?
I have exceptional eyesight.
There's dust. Don't forget the dust.
And there's dust on the typewriter.
Well, can't contradict you there.
So?
So, I don't think that's any of your business, Miss Blackwell. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Mr. Mitchell, 2 people are dead.
So I gathered.
You wrote about both of them.
Yes, I did.
You don't find anything suspicious about that.
I've written about hundreds of people over 30 years. The fact that 2 of them happen to be dead does not surprise me. It's just a coincidence.
Funny thing about my life, Mr. Mitchell? If something looks like a coincidence, it normally isn't.
Well, I hate to disappoint you.
Ooh, look at the sweat on this guy's brow. If he ain't lying, I'm dying, so to speak.
Ah, agency.
You aren't a very good liar.
And you are poking your nose into things you don't understand.
You'd be surprised at what I understand, Mr. Mitchell. Try me.
Who are you anyway? You come in, out of the blue, and bring up all this.
All of what?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I write about people and they die. Can you understand that? Can you? My whole life I've been driven to write about people. Now I kill them instead.
Tell him about the
You've
Countess.
done nothing wrong. There's a woman called the Countess. She kills whoever you write about.
A countess killing people that I write about. That's a tall story, and that's a lot to take in. Why would she do something like that? How did this happen?
Probably because of your connection to humanity. I don't know.
You said probably, so you're not sure?
Not as such, no.
Well then, I appreciate you trying, but I prefer if you left well enough alone.
It's a lot of dialogue options. Why is anyone cooperating with her? They don't have to. I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about that, because there's times where, like, I wouldn't expect people to be so resistant to just, like, have a conversation with her, and they super are. And then there's times where she's like, but come on! And they're like, okay, I'll tell you everything. Like, it just... I don't know. Again, there are times when I'm playing these Blackwell games where I'm like, has Dave Gilbert had a conversation with a human? They don't act like this. Offer words of
You're
encouragement.
not a murderer, Mr. Mitchell.
No, I'm not. 5 years back, I tried to write about a man. An old man in a bar. He was killed the next day, choked to death. I didn't think anything of it at the time. Then I wrote about another man, Mr. Isaac Brown. You know him. He died the same way. Still figured it was just a coincidence. But then it happened with Mavis Wilcox. For the 3rd time in a row. No, I didn't kill them. Not on purpose. But if I wrote a 4th time, that would be murder. Plain and simple.
So you're gonna give me that last name then?
I'm trying to help you.
And I never asked for it. People die when I write. So, I don't write. The problem's solved.
Don't you want to help? There's a killer out there.
Who only kills people I write about. So I stopped writing about people. Problem solved.
I can't leave it alone, Mr. Mitchell.
Oh, rest assured you can. You seem like a capable young lady, and I'm sure you
I
think
wouldn't go that
but I
far.
don't want any more deaths on my conscience.
Why is this happening?
I think it's a penance of some kind. I've shared the intimate details of people's lives with the world. Perhaps I revealed one secret too many. I don't think about it anymore. I just come to work
That's a
like nothing's
wild
wrong. Everyone's
conclusion.
been very polite so far, but I'm sure the ball will drop someday.
How long? I think at some point they indicated how long it's been since he wrote. It's truly baffling though that he just like sits in this office and like through some clerical error just keeps collecting salary.
Don't you want to write again?
Oh yes, but people are safe as long as I don't write about anything real. I've always wanted to try a hand at fiction. Had a story in my head for years. I'll probably give it a whirl, see how it goes. But no more deaths.
Seems like you could have tried that by now. Well, hey, why don't we threaten police
You
action?
won't help me. I'll have to go to the police.
Oh, and tell them what?
All those deaths, all killed the same way, so soon after you met them? I'm sure they'd be interested in that information.
Is that right? Well, I'd be careful if I were you.
Careful.
I'm not without defenses, if you know what I mean.
Is that a threat? Are you threatening to write about me?
I didn't say anything.
Are you threatening to write about me?
You know what? Go right ahead.
What do you mean?
You want to write so bad? Write about me. Dust off that typewriter and get to work. Knock yourself out.
Listen, I spoke out of turn. I didn't honestly mean.
Hell with that. Just do it.
Hey, this is dangerous.
I know what I'm doing.
I can't do it.
Like hell you can't. You've been writing for how long? 30 years? More? I know you can do it. I want to meet this thing head on. It's the only way. Do it.
You don't know what you're asking.
What's the worst that could happen?
You could die.
Yeah,
Oh.
that would be the obvious.
Is that all?
But
Quiet. Right. I was born in Troy, upstate New York. My mother's name was Patricia. My father... You getting this stuff down?
I think we're about to wake up
Well,
dead.
I hope you're happy.
I'm never happy.
Edgar asks who would want to read about this annoying woman. A woman who calls herself the Countess and strangles people to death if she reads about them on a typewriter. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you, Neko. Like, it's tough because, like, I feel like part of the conceit of this world should be that, like, we have to be creative because we have no authority. We're not the cops or whatever. Like, we have no ability to be like, you know, you have to make time and answer these questions or whatever. So it should be us, like, you know, figuring out what people want to hear, like, cleverly sneaking our way into places, like, you know, doing, like, typical, like, adventure game things. Like, you're not using brute force, you know, like, you don't have, like, superpowers that solve your problems like other video games. Like, you just get some additional abilities from having, like, a spirit companion, and you have to use your wits to convince people to help you. But for whatever reason, like, certainly this protagonist is, like, even worse than Rosa. Rosa wasn't great, but, like, no one would ever want to work with her. I mean, like, go look at that entire exchange where you just, like, keep talking to Cecil and he's like, leave. And you're like, no, I'm gonna come back and do it again.
Absolutely not. Right now.
It's a really pointless exercise. I have to switch to the ghost and talk to her
No,
because she has
the
to.
kid can find her own. We're supposed to be a team. You can't make this kind of decision without asking me first.
Button it, Joey. If this broad's a medium like me, then I have some questions for her. If I'm gonna end up like that, I want to know.
And if she kills you for your trouble?
Well, then I won't have to worry.
And what happens to me, huh? You die, what the heck happens to me?
You'll move on to whoever's next. That's how it works, doesn't it?
It's not about that.
Maybe you'll end up with my baby brother. I'm sure you guys will get along great.
Yeah, great. When do you think she'll get here?
I don't know. I feel her coming, though. She knows who I am.
How can you feel that?
I just do. She was right. She's like me. Maybe mediums call out to each other.
So, any thought on how to handle her?
Nope, not a one. I just want to talk to her.
Well, she can see and hear me, so I can help. You're not alone.
Yeah.
You understand? You're not alone.
I'm tired, Joey. I'm so tired.
All right, I'll just leave you to it.
Yeah.
She's here. So polite of her to knock.
I think that'll be a good place to pick up tomorrow. I mean, here's where I think I stand. No. I have 3 sentences left? That doesn't sound right. There's supposed to be a whole third case. I'm gonna be really mad if this goes on for like a half hour. I need you to understand that.
I know you.
Yes. You know me. Come in.
I kind of wanted her to just strangle us to death.
What's your story?
I want to help you.
Help me.
To death.
You're in pain? Lost? I can help.
This woman sounds like me putting on a voice, by the way.
Do you have a guide? The spirit guide?
I still feel her. She is gone, but not completely gone.
What do you mean?
Kid, her mind is snapped. She's not gonna make any sense.
Yes. She snapped my mind. She went away and my world expanded. I see everything. Everything. It hurts.
This doesn't feel like 3 sentences. This doesn't feel like 3 sentences.
Who was your spirit guide?
She had a name. I no longer know. I wish I knew. I
That's-
cannot think. Not without her. Why did she leave? Why?
Where is your spirit guide now?
I don't know. Her voice is gone. I'm lost. I found that other voice, but he is so quiet.
You mean Mitchell?
The true guide. She is gone. Gone.
How did she go away?
I don't know. She
She
found
took the
a way.
midnight train
Why
going
did she do
anywhere.
that?
Who are you?
I am the Countess.
Thanks. Thank you for
You're
that.
bonded with Joseph Mitchell.
Is that his name? The guide who is not a guide? Yes. The non-guide. He
There's-
speaks to the world.
There's a
He
lack of
spoke.
compelling explanation
He tells me
here.
what to do. Oh, he is so often silent. It's been years since I heard his voice, but tonight I heard him. He told me to help you.
He didn't tell you that.
Why else would I be here? I'm here to help you.
You're here to kill me.
No! I don't kill. I will set you free.
I will hug you
Watch
to
it,
death
lady.
through
Did
the
you help
neck.
me before your spirit guide went away?
Like you.
You know, sane.
Joey.
I was happy. I was
No, you
smaller,
weren't.
Saw the world in
What?
unique colors. And
You
there
mean you were
was
smaller?
Music. Sweet music. We helped people. It felt good. Now she is gone. Now
Even
I
though, like,
help people,
50%
but
of the
it
ghosts
feels
hate you?
Bad.
Will I become like you? Please tell me. That's all I want to know.
You are loved.
Loved? Loved by who?
You are in pain, my child. Let me help you.
Really shouldn't accept that help, I don't think.
I'd like to help you instead.
Help me? I need no help. You need to be free.
Didn't you just describe your life as,
Hey,
like,
let her go,
complete
you
agony?
old witch. Damn it! I can't do anything. Fight her, Lauren. Fight back. Fight back, damn you! What are you doing? That's not gonna work. Fight her.
Oh my god, toggling inventory items is such trash.
All right. That's what happens when you mess with us. Stay away from her.
No, she needs my help.
Hey, you want to help someone? Why don't you help me? You want to free a spirit? Well, I'm the real McCoy.
You?
Yeah, that's right. Come and save me. I'm right here.
He's gonna run off the balcony.
Wait, I'm supposed to help her. Oh, my head. Why do you move so far? You don't need help. Her.
Hey, I need help.
Help?
She's confused, in pain, and very, very insane. For the first time, I'm glad I'm already dead.
I'll save you.
I'm in pain. What are you gonna do about it?
I can help you.
This is very cool and
That's the
normal.
crime. I don't think you can handle it.
You.
I hate you so much, I'll help
And
you to
need
death.
The saving.
You need me? Why did you don't her?
Hey,
Oh my god.
I need.
Help?
What an incredibly tedious task.
No, I cannot, but I can
Hey, I said
help.
You're so.
I will.
It's like so clear that I know how to do this. Why do you make me do it like 7 times?
What are you waiting?
Oh,
Come on, you old.
yeah.
I'm waiting.
I'll say.
Well, come on. What are you waiting for?
I want.
It seems
help.
hard to
Why
accidentally,
don't you let me help you?
with no run-up, flip yourself over the balcony without trying. Watch her die! Or push her, I guess.
I'm sorry. I can't look. Is she?
I didn't realize she was gonna be like a cyber witch.
No ghost. She's gone.
Gone. I killed her.
It was either her or you, darling. You made the right choice.
I understand how that's supposed to come across, but that has the same, like, disaffected line read as every other thing she's ever
You
said.
won't be alone.
I killed
I'll
her.
make sure of that.
You say that now, but look at her. Her guide was gone.
I can't speak for the future, kid. Maybe someday we'll meet someone like her. Then maybe we'll find out more. But right here, right now, I'm here.
In theory, we could have tried a little harder to find out more from her, but sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's something.
She died of immediate lung cancer.
This is a bad idea. You don't need to do this.
Hello?
Hi, Jack?
Lauren, sis, is that you?
Yeah, Jack. It's me.
Where have you been?
It's not important.
I shoved the old lady off a
Tell me about
balcony.
your life, Jack. How's Maria? When's the wedding?
This is a really bad idea.
When the sun sets
Oh, we have like a whole song. Like it's not just background music anymore.
sad old memory.
In and out 7 minutes. Yeah, 7 minutes and 3 sentences. It's not a half hour, but it's also not like just do it, you're done. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued by the fact that this was so much worse than the first game that I feel compelled to at least try the next one. before committing one way or the other, then I know I'll probably live to regret that. But like, that's sort of where I'm at. Like, I've heard really good things about this series, and so far I have very few good things to say about any of my experiences playing them. Like, I'm there's no exaggeration when I say this. I am shocked at how bad the actual gameplay of these two games has been. Like, just, I mean, it's like I said before, the general structure of like a graphical adventure game had more or less been solved by like the early 90s. This came out in 2007 or 2008 and like feels like it wants you to believe that it came up with the concept of a graphical adventure game. They were a decent point and click for the time. Like, I genuinely can't believe that. Like, that's what people say about Siberia, and it's true about Siberia. Siberia has not aged well, but the first Siberia was like pretty good for its time. But like, I mean, compare this to like a mediocre 90s adventure game, and like, in my opinion, it's really rough. Like, I've certainly played worse games than the Blackwell games, but like, special activation code, real ugly. What does... During this game, Lord smoked 60 cigarettes and Joy was hit 6 times by Isaac's saxophone. Oh, that's true. I only got 2 photos. It seems pretty hard to imagine. Oh, I guess I could have taken a photo of the record shop guy. I don't know who else. Because you just don't get that many. Just quit, please. There's a lag of point and clicks at the time. Remember how Broken Age was going to bring back the genre? Yeah, that was a whole crock, obviously. That game's just super rough, boy. Jeez. But, like, there's a distinction, right? Like, I feel like what you're saying is it was good for its time, but it hasn't aged well, is sort of what is implied by what you said. Which, like, there are lots of games like that, where, like, they were a big deal for their time, but, like, the things that came since have eclipsed them so much, it's kind of difficult to go back to the original experience. But, like, better games already existed. It's not like this was breaking ground in a meaningful way in 2006. It was an option that wasn't commonplace back then, because, like, there was, like, a grassroots movement to get, like, adventure games off the ground again. Like, indie developers and, like, people who grew up with the games, like, making them as passion projects. And, like, I've tried and probably not succeeded sufficiently to point out that, like, I am impressed at the ability of someone to make these games with, like, a small team or whatever. But, like, at the end of the day, it's not, like, a particularly good end product. Like, I think it's worth applauding the effort, because not everyone can make a game at all. But, like, what is the strength of these games? I would argue it's not the narrative and it's not the mechanics, and for a graphic adventure game, that doesn't leave very much. Yeah, Blade Runner came out... Is that late 90s? I thought the Blade Runner adventure game was earlier than that. But I mean, like, essentially every LucasArts game in history came out before the first Blackwell game. So, like, I don't know how you could ever... And I'm not trying to put this on you in particular, Castle, but, like, I don't know how one makes the argument that this was, like, great for its time, you know? Like, it's just... I don't know how to put this without being unnecessarily harsh, but just, like, I don't understand. Like, there are so many... I mean, like, look at the stuff that's come out more recently. Stuff like, you know, Strangeland is, like, a fairly small team. Super stylized art. Really creative stuff going on. Really interesting, like, resonant but simple story. Like, is it perfect? No. Is it great? Yeah. Like... I just, like... I'm so used to looking at these things within the context of like what they're good at, because these games as a genre aren't for many people. Like, they were very popular for a time, and then things that were more graphically impressive came out, and people tended to move towards those for various reasons. But like, there's lots of ways that you can succeed at making an adventure game. Like, some have done it by making creative and interesting use of mechanics, and some have done it by having just like a really strong internal story, and some have had some combination in between where like the story is immersive with some specific game mechanics, but it's not really a classic adventure game or something. But like, I don't know what these games are bringing to the table. Like, they have like worse inventory management than like King's Quest 1, and like the dialogue tree being handled by the Notebook is just like worse than a regular boring dialogue tree. It's like the only innovations I see are to like do stuff that existed worse than it had already been done. And then on top of that, you have like the weird like surprise devil at the end of the first game, and like just all the confusing phone book garbage from the second game. Like, I failed to see what it is that I'm supposed to look back at this and be like, this really did something unique that like no other game has done, that like I am here for, you know? And again, I know how negative this comes across, and some part of that is the inherent frustration of trying to play these games because they just don't even like give you any type of clue to point you in the right direction if you don't already know the exact right thing to do. And like a lot of the time in both games, the correct thing to do is like something you've already done, but just do it again. But like, I don't know why you'd know that. Just do it again. And like, just none of that is all that compelling to me. But like, I'm so fascinated by it nonetheless. Like, on the one hand, I just genuinely appreciate any indie adventure game. Any like adventure game at all, really. I've played some real bad ones in my time. I should see if it's possible to run, I think it's called Midnight Nowhere. That game crashed so hard. It was like this like small like Russian dev team made game that like wasn't localized properly. And I know I've mentioned this puzzle before, but like, it's one of the things I most remember about it is like, you're kind of in this like abandoned world, like roaming a hospital, trying to find some answers as to like what happened and like get back to some sense of normalcy. And at a certain point, you like find like carved into some tile in a room in like a, maybe at this point you're at a prison. I thought you were still in the hospital, but like there's just like a riddle that says like, who runs around at night in a rubber diving suit? And like, you have to answer this riddle to progress in the game. And the answer is Batman. And somehow by context, I understood that the answer was Batman, but Batman is not an appropriate answer to that question. So like, I've played some bad games and still appreciated them. I mean, I played like Black Mirror, and that game's rough, and its sequels are worse. Yikes forever. But like, I guess what I'm driving at is I would love to understand what it is that make people speak so highly of this game. And it's not that I don't have faith in the developer. Unavowed, I think, is genuinely one of the best adventure games I've played probably ever, but certainly in the last like 10 years. Although, man, we're reaching a point where it's almost more than that, and that's a bummer. Anyway, it is getting late. And that wasn't 3 sentences. So, to round out the stream, as always, see if you all can find a secret Squirtle, because among the various friends that occupy at least as much of the frame as I do, I've hidden some number of secret Squirtles. And of course, locating a Squirtle in this way will be an omen of good luck for you in the coming days. While I invite you to consider your options and see if you can find a secret Squirtle, I will note that I do intend to play the next Blackwell game tomorrow. That's Blackwell Convergence. And I think from there we'll see if we're seeing improvement. If the next one is somehow worse than Unbound, we're gonna have a problem. I find that genuinely difficult to believe. Will it blow me away? That I don't know, but how would it get worse than this? And also, we're eyeing October 12th for a special early Halloween nonsense. There's gonna be some stuff closer to Halloween, but like this is, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the Halloween special, but it's definitely the most high concept Halloween thing I have planned for the year. And there's a few reasons I don't want to do it as the big Halloween stream, and we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, so we got some guesses. Octohat, Wally. I assume by wavy hair you're referring to our giraffe cat, who I do appreciate the fact that the ceiling fan in the room is causing that to happen all day. Behind Oob. I love Oob Ghost. I really, really do. All right, let's get seeking. First guess I saw was under Octohat, who conceals not a Squirtle, but a winking waffle. Right here we have our giraffe cat with flowing yarn sort of hair. And this was selected to conceal our fluffy unicorn, who also has freely flowing hair. I thought that was sort of fun. Guess of Wally. Wally, can we manage this? Has concealed a whole family of Drifloons. We've got big Drifloon, small Drifloon, shiny Drifloon, and Driftblim, all together as family. And the last guess I spotted behind Oob Ghost is in fact our spooky Halloween secret Squirtle. Oob. I really love the Oob Ghost. My mom got me this last year. God, that was a year ago. Time is horrible. It is Oob Ghost because I typically flip the camera because it keeps me sane while trying to gesture. And it's just a ghost that is dressed up for Halloween, makes me happy, and it's very happy. It's very good. But yeah, we'll be back with some more Blackwell tomorrow, and it's probably going to be a wild time. Clear your schedule for October 12th. Like I said, I think I may give a little more information as we get closer, once I'm absolutely certain it will work the way I want it to. It's technically speaking very complicated. But it will either be a lot of fun or hot garbage, or possibly both, but I think it's going to be one end of the spectrum or the other. We'll find out together. In the meantime, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being you. And I hope to see you again soon. And whether that's tomorrow, October 12th, or some other time, remember to take care of yourselves and that you are clawsome.